Hey guys, welcome to episode 176 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is the 7th of August. We are still in the blazing heat for the most part, but at least for me, it's been raining like literally every day, almost every day or almost every other day, and it's turning into London here for some reason or another. But, anyways, we are in the depths. We're in the depths of the summer season finally for some reason, although it is already August, and it's a little bit strange because as we mentioned before, a lot of the anime series have cascaded in a sense. They're opening their initial airing dates, so a lot of series are already sort of in their 6 episodes or so, but there are also series that are only 3 episodes in, or even just 1 episode in, and it's a very muddled season. I don't know, but anyways, I am your host Spire. With me are most of my compatriots: Near,
Hello.
Dark,
Hi.
okay, and Toast is AWOL for one reason or another. So unfortunately, he is not here to share his series, but we will let you know. We'll keep you updated on what is going on and any future series he covers. But Near, how have your past 2 weeks been?
Um, you know, uh, just here and there. The new season of Apex came out. Um, Playing that a bit. Uh, the new or updated map is kind of cool, I guess. Um, Other than that, playing
You
a
guys
lot
been
of
having you guys have been
yeah,
having also a lot of frustration too. I can hear it over the
yeah,
Discord.
yeah. We haven't really been having the best games lately, but um,
You guys got to be on the Japan servers or some shit,
I mean,
man.
yeah.
it boils down to like solo. I've been having decent enough times because it usually matches you with a duo. But the way I play solo seems to be completely different from the solos that me and Near get, where
Yeah.
we try and do something together, and then the solo is just like, but what if I barely played?
Yeah, what if yeah, like me and Dark will we'll come across a squad or we'll get into a firefight or whatever, and then our third party member he'll just leave. Um
What?
or he'll
What?
just he'll just watch us shoot at the enemy squad, he just doesn't really do anything. And it's like, why are you playing the game? What are you here for? You know? It's just it's really frustrating.
Uh,
But
we've had we've had seers who don't use their abilities.
yeah. Yeah, that was cool. But yeah. And that, I've been playing a lot of gacha. Been kind of a gacha fiend lately. Um, Punishing Gray Raven came out. What was it, like
There's
three
been a lot of
three
there's been a
weeks
lot of
ago?
like multimedia
Yeah,
projects
about
being
three,
released
three
for
and a
this.
half, something
Yeah.
like that.
And then in Punishing Gray Raven, the new event came out, which comes with like the first new character. Um, and I was kind of like, maybe I won't roll. Maybe I'll save for later. But then I spent $50.
God damn it, yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So yeah, I rolled that. I got the character. The thing is, with Punishing Gray Raven, at the very least, Punishing Gray Raven has a very very low pity. Um, so you only need to do 60 rolls, and you're guaranteed the character. Um,
Okay.
which is pretty cool, and especially because in the debut banners, which is what characters come out on, um, they're the only character. Like they're the only S rank character in the banner, right? So you can't get spooked. You can't get robbed by pity. Like that's the only character you're gonna get. went on pity.
Right.
So the pity rate is super low. The character is 100% guaranteed, and a lot of the you can get a lot of currency free, right? So the only real whaling, I guess, comes from getting dupes of the character, because then you get your S character becomes double S or triple S or whatever, and they get extra passives and stuff, and they do more damage or whatever. And then you can roll for weapons and stuff too, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, I just got the character. Bought her costume too, her limited costume. It's pretty cool. She's she looks like Raiden from Metal Gear. So
Metal
that's
Gear
cool.
Solid 4 specifically, the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
appearance of Raiden.
yeah. But yeah, Punishing Gray River is a fun game. Should check it out if you haven't. It's like an action game, but it's a gotcha. It's kind of cool. Other than that,
Okay.
the new Nier gotcha came out. Um, for global. Was it Nier Reincarnation? Um, it's kind of fun, I guess. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. I've also been playing a lot of Fate Grand Order. Um, as one does. The summer event's up. I rolled for Summer Musashi, which I probably shouldn't have, because I'm not really that big of a fan of Musashi. But she's a really, really strong servant, especially later on when some supports come out. But I spent a bit more than I should have. But I got her in the end, which is cool. But I'm probably gonna have to skip on a couple of banners in the future. But yeah. On that, I mean, I've been keeping up on some stuff, but I don't know. The season for anime is kind of whack. Kind of stinks. Kind of
The
not
thing is,
great.
I feel like it would have gotten even like an okay reception and then kind of petered out. It's like, oh, some of these series or whatever. But it's like already like having not great lineup at the beginning, and then
Yeah,
also the fact
and
that
then a
like
bunch of other series are slowly trickling out. Like,
yeah, like the fact that you have to potentially wait for also bad series to come out way later in the season. You're like, uh,
yeah, yeah,
uh.
not the best season, but I've been watching some stuff.
Okay.
I watched what the hell is this thing called? Uh,
Nighthead?
Nighthead 2041. Which I'll be covering this episode. It is a show. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
Okay. All right. So we'll get to Nier's series in a bit. But what about you, Dark? How have your past 2 weeks been?
Um, kind of the same, to be honest. I've been playing a lot of gotchas as well. Also played Punishing Gray Raven. Also rolled for Alpha. Also bought the Raiden costume because it's a fucking Raiden costume. I'll buy that in any game. Um, also did Near Reincarnation and re-rolled for like a couple hours and got a really good account. So been playing that because I will probably never spend money in that game. Game's all right. Good music though, so really all
Yeah,
I. Good music and s- little stories so far, so that's pretty cool.
Good.
Um, Other than that, I've been keeping up with the Activision Blizzard stuff. Um, been being
I think
under
everybody has.
wild ride
and
that.
and we'll get into
I
this
think.
later. Been being under attack for being fucking right about everything forever, as usual. You know, Reddit is attacking me and hating because I speak only the truth on topics such as Genshin Impact, um, and World of Warcraft. So more on that later and how man, you know what? First, just gonna throw it out there. I was right about WoW over a fucking year ago, and with the new systems in Shadowlands, and everyone fucking downvoted me and hated on me, harassed me for like a week on fucking Reddit, and was like, You don't know what you're talking about. Sure enough, here we are. Everyone fucking hates the system that I criticized. For the exact fucking reasons I said. But anyway, other than that, my 2 weeks have been just that, Apex, and now watching B-Side, which, speaking of gacha games, whew, that is also apparently going to be a gacha game. With, funnily enough, a main character that isn't as cool as the one that's in the show. So, that'll be interesting.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
the
just
guy in the show has like the pink hair and stuff, and then the gacha character, I don't know. I mean, I imagine that guy is in the game then.
Probably.
But you know, then the main character in the gacha game is just like, here's extremely generic male or female. It's like, well, kind of fucked up that you give that like the main character when the rest of the cast is like these fucking dripped out like punk rock looking characters.
right.
And that's about it.
Okay. As again, Dark is gonna cover D side. I don't know. Okay, why are there so many? Like
Oh yeah, and
we've
that's why we're
heard.
gonna
I
name this
mean,
episode in 3D.
in 3D. Excuse me. But I mean, we've always had multimedia projects, or rather game, we have a mobile game related series like every season now, right? But now, like, at least for this season, for some reason there seems to be like five different multimedia projects releasing at the same time, and they're all like mobile games and they all also have anime. So like, what's going on? I just do we
It's,
really need this many gotcha games is what I'm asking.
Yes.
I guess, this has been the most I've ever played at once, and it's kind
That's
of hellish to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
no,
because it's like
I
current
realized.
Grand Blue, Fate, Nier, Genshin, fucking Punishing Gray Raven, and I'm tempted to get back into Arc Knights whenever they rerun
I
W.
wouldn't. I wouldn't do that.
When they rerun W, I should have enough points to get her. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've talked about this before, but I've seen screenshots of people trying to literally like juggle, you know, 4 to 6 different mobile games at the same time, like cycling through stamina, like having it on their emulators and stuff like that, like BlueStacks or whatever, like just all of the games. And it's like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, don't do that shit. But anyway, uh, as for me, my 2 weeks have been pretty quiet. Um, I've downloaded a lot more visual novels, but I haven't actually gone through that many visual novels. And the stuff I've gone through is like on the smaller side. It's very um like I've done the smaller stuff like this like Yandere's sister loves me too much or whatever the fuck it is. I'm trying to like start from like short and move up to like way big, but it's not working. It's not working because it's like there's a shit ton of like smaller stuff, and then by the time I get to the bigger stuff, it's just like, oh god, please.
Well, by the
Yeah,
time you get through all the smaller stuff, 100 new smaller ones have been pumped out. So
that's also true. It's like, and half of these are just like Python based, like shitty whatever. Like the visual novel I just went through had this. Uh, you know how for like each visual novel they have to get these like sound effects for having sex or whatever it is, right? And they probably either have to buy it from somewhere or get it from like duty not duty free. What is it called?
royalty
Um,
free.
yeah, royalty free
To just
or royalty free
beg
sex. Like,
royalty for that. Yeah, like fucking Kevin
You just gotta
McLeod.
get like some splashing
Royal.
it's just like a random guy in the background going, it's like that's the
Wait,
royalty
what?
free.
What was that?
It's just
Fucking
like for that moment.
Minecraft Steve?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like falling. Yeah, exactly. But what is it? Or they have to make it themselves, which is oftentimes what they do, right? And the standard like sounds that they make, and you'll hear this in visual novels, you'll hear it in hentai or whatever it is. Although I haven't actually watched hentai stuff in like
Yeah,
literally
okay,
forever, I
dude.
think.
Okay, dude.
Yeah,
Just
All
listen,
saying.
right.
first of
Just
all,
saying.
okay, sure, I don't believe that for a second. But also, I mean, has it evolved in,
Yeah, that's the problem.
30 years anyway?
So what I was about to say is the graphics obviously are always improving because of the spike, man. But it's like the sound effects are just like, so it's like during the sex scenes, the two sort of sound effects that you need is or I guess three in a sense, because they always kind of go through this. It's like the blowjob sound effect, and then the sound effect for like the actual sex, right? And then what is it? The ejaculation sound that they have for whatever reason, right? And so
Yeah, for
the sound effects,
realism,
the the
obviously.
sound the sound effects for all three were not only pretty much the same sound but variants of like literally the same sound but like
It
variants
really
thereof.
is Minecraft. They're just speeding it up and
But
slowing it
they're
down.
all yeah. But it was literally like no. It was just like louder or like more fuzzy or like softer or whatever. But it wasn't even like speech. Um, but the sound was literally like if you took your hand and like how do I even describe this? If you
Like squeezing like your cupped hands together.
no, if you took like a dildo and if you took your hand or like not even dildo, it's like fuck, like some sort of like rubber tube, like a vuvuzela or some shit. Like I don't know, and like you took your hand
Like a
and you like
fucking like one of those thick plastic bendy straws? What are you talking about?
yeah. Like it's if you took some sort of like let's say like a dildo or something like that, or like some sort of like rubber or plastic stick, like some sort of cylindrical object, and you took your hand and it's like not even lube, it's just like wet or some shit, and you're like slapped it against the dildo, like like that. That
Oh.
was literally the sound of the blowjob sound effect. First of all,
Oh.
that was like that is not how a mouse sounds like. I don't know what else to say, but that's not how a mouse sounds like. It's like yeah, it's literally like a slapping sound, and that was a blowjob sound effect, by the
That's
way.
that.
Just put in, listen, just put in fucking Call of Duty like hit
Man,
marker sound
I'd be
effects at
like,
this
nah.
point.
I'd just be like, I'm good. I'll pass. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
You
like
don't
my
need
dick
it. You
just
don't need to touch it.
sorry.
Like, we could just hang out.
So it's already like going bad places, and then yeah, like fisting a jar of mayo. No, it's like slapping a jar of mayo, and it's not. I'm not even kidding. It's like, but but
Hell yeah,
and
that's
then
awesome.
afterwards, the sex scene comes in, and the sex scene is just that same sound but louder. So it's like
Oh yes.
it's just like slamming the thing. I just like, and it's like a wet slap, but it's literally so loud because it's like,
Oh, that's
if you've
fucking
ever if you've ever
incredible.
had sex or like lit, seen porn or whatever, you know that obviously they're not that like unless the woman is literally getting like flung
Peak
against
the
other
mic.
person.
I don't know about you, bro, but I get pretty wild.
Yeah.
I like the echo.
I like I like to
That's why
hold two microphones up to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why the standard sort of sound effect for people having sex is slapping, sort of like soft slapping, right? Because the skin's slapping against each other, right? But it's not like they're not like punching each other in the butt ass, like I don't know what to say, but this sound effect is literally like.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
like that
what are
clip
you
of Joe
doing?
Rogan hitting the fucking kicking the punching bag.
Yeah, exactly. But wet. Like I'm
A
just like,
fucking
what?
gunshot.
Yeah, I'm like, have you guys ever like have the people making this ever
No.
seen sex?
No.
Like what is going
No.
on right
There's your answer. No.
I'm just like, come on, guys, you can't do it
I
like
mean,
that.
hey, if it was
Come on.
consistent, if that was true and consistent enough, you'd just have better sound effects.
Yeah. It was like the moment I heard this, and the fact that the blowjob sound effect was the same as the actual sound effect, they were both just like essentially just slapping like
Hell
two wet
yeah.
dildos against each other. It's just I don't know. It was like
Yeah, I
like
want either an
I just looked
option.
at it. I was
I
like,
want either an option for Call of Duty hit markers instead. Want that
mm,
sound effect, or I want the Gears of War 1 headshot. Either
Yeah.
or. I want that over and over again. Yeah, the
and
Gears of War headshot pop.
yeah, and you know how
Incredible.
like what was it? The you know how I always mention the inverse rule of visual novels, right? Where it's like the shorter or the shittier a visual novel is, the more save slots that has, right? And this
Yeah.
is like if for those of you who have played visual novels, you know this is true. And I'm not even lying about this. It's like it's a theory I have, but it almost always works out where you'll have some RPG that takes 50 million hours to all complete and get all the HCG routes and collect all the girls and whatever. And it's like you have 50 slots, and you're like, come on, bro, you can't do this to me, okay? and then you'll have some shitty ass, takes 10 minutes to skip through Python, like VN Python or whatever that engine is, the RenPy, right, or whatever it's called, RenPy.
Yeah, I think it run
Um,
by.
visual shit that bugs out every other second, and it'll be like, here's 176 save
Here's
slots.
9,999 save
Yeah,
slots.
I need a slot for every single line of text.
second, yeah. And I was just sitting here thinking, like, as I look at the save slots, I'm just like, is there a reason why I would ever like pause at any one of these moments?
Dude,
I
I
don't
mean,
want to
dude,
hear
you
this.
saw fucking Sugita's save card for the fucking like, what was it, the Amagami? Is
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was? Fucking
Yeah,
Amagami, like
or
all the
left plus,
same
yeah, yeah,
route,
yeah,
like
yeah. Oh my
like 8
god.
different saves for the same fucking route. Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, that was just my recent visual novel experience. And that's why you know, again, for me, visual novels is a little bit more of a black box. It's a little bit harder to predict than, from because I haven't well, I've had experience, but maybe visual novels are a little bit better at hiding what their actual dialogue and stories tend to be than light novels and web novels and stuff like that. But that was my recent visual novel experience, and it was a very interesting one, to say the least. But yeah, I it was very surprising. Anyways, that was pretty much been it. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet over the past couple of weeks. And without further ado, that was our 2 weeks, and we'll head right on to our reviews here. And my review is going to be Bokutachi no Remake, or Remake Our Life. So this is what is this series? This series is Feel Studios. Feel Studios is like a tier 2-ish studio. They do various like genres and stuff. Um it's not that they're pretty buried in their genres, unlike studio White Fox. White Fox is a studio, right? That does like isekais all the time or something.
Yeah.
And so on. But yeah, recently they did stuff like, well, not recently, but they're known for doing stuff like Nagashikashi. They did Play Alternative. That's a name I haven't heard in a hot minute. They did Jinsei. Yeah, they do a lot of like smaller stuff. But yeah. So Feel Studios, as for audio visuals, pretty standard, nothing too big, nothing too fancy. It's pretty standard. Frames are there, the visuals are there. It's pretty. It has pretty girls. The OPED BGM, nothing to shout, nothing to really do anything about. The voice actors, voice acting cast is pretty interesting. It has a lot of smaller, I think, voice actresses and stuff like that in the supporting roles, but the main roles are it's essentially just like, okay, the main roles are Koga Aoi, it's Toyama Now, and it's Aimi, and everybody else is just like like supporting, like they've done like three like notable roles in the past or something like that. And so those three girls are pretty much carrying the entire voice acting team on that. Not too much. what else do I say about this? The series, right? So the series is a light novel original. It's done by Kiyonachi. Kiyonachi is also a virtual YouTuber, and I think he started out by doing writing scenarios, writing scenarios and routes for various visual novels and stuff like that. So um, some of the stuff I'm trying to read through the what is it the his Japanese wiki, but he did he a lot of the stuff he did isn't as well known. He did Love Kami or something like that. He did Kusaya series. Oh, I think he did Sasaki Yumiko. I think
Hmm.
or Sakaki Yumiko, right? So he did Sakaki Yumiko for route for the Kusaya series, and then he did Alkana, Ao no Kanta no Forism, right? Which was the Sphere series, right?
Yeah.
Did some Katakata stuff. He did. Oh, he did first part of Kirara Fantasia. Okay. Interesting.
Huh.
But yeah, other than that, he did a couple of light novels as well. Like for instance, Imoto wa Imoto wa Boku ni te o dasu na, which is sort of which was a very standard sort of love triangle rom-com kind of stuff, and and a couple of others before kind of ending up with Bokutachi no Remake. He started in 2017 and has been going on since up until now. Actually, now it's got an anime, and the basic premise of this is that the MC, Hashiba Kyoya, is he's pursuing a job, or he had a job in the video game industry. He's doing a bunch of stuff. He's doing internship, blah blah blah. But then he suddenly got laid off because the game studio shut down the project he was working on. So then he becomes unemployed. He goes back to his parents' house and he's like, "Fuck, everything's just shitty now." So then, um, and he's just like, "Man, if only I had taken that, job or not or sorry only if I had gone to that sort of arts college or that sort of animator school
Yeah,
that
that's the
I got
answer.
accepted to, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that I got accepted to instead of taking these office jobs. Maybe I would have been there. Maybe I would have been with those other famous creator guys that are
No.
all famous that are famous now, instead of just being here, no money, unemployed at my parents' house. He's down in the dumps, goes to sleep, wakes up, and he's back in time. He's back in 10 years where he just got the acceptance letter to go to the arts college. So he's like, fuck it, I'll go to the arts college. He goes there, and or the creator school or whatever, right? The Onaka University of Art or wherever it is. He goes to the art college, and then he meets a bunch of classmates who happen to be the famous creators that he was previously jealous of, that he kind of looked up to, and he was like, "Oh man, I wish I could be like those guys, but now I'm here, like doing this office job." He is now classmates with those people, and then the rest of the series is him kind of just going through the paces, interacting with the people who will become famous in the future, learning about their ideas, learning about their aspirations, him doing his own stuff, supporting them, and going through the whole stuff. And of course, um, besides the one like male sidekick, three of the characters are girls, so you know, rom com
Impossible.
fun, and literally impossible. Yeah. But yeah, rom com fun ensues. And that's sort of the general idea of the story. But how do I say this? So this series tries to juggle a lot of stuff. It tries to juggle the sort of the creator, the animator, writer, screen, blah blah blah. The animation production sort of timeline process of and put it into detail. And because light novel authors, and obviously the guy writing it is not only a light novel author, Kiyonachi. He's not only a light novel author, but he's also uh, he was a former visual novel scenario writer. He kind of knows the entire process, and as per usual, he tends to write about it in almost excruciating, not I wouldn't say excruciating, but way more detail than you would expect in a standard X theme series, right? Because it's like, I mean, this has been a trend for a while now, right? Because a lot of times you kind of see stuff that's like X themed, like like shogi themed or whatever it is, right? Um, or like mountain climbing or something like that. And they have sort of like surface level detail, right? And it's like, oh, if you climb a mountain, you have to carry this equipment, and that's sort of like the level of trivia that it goes into. And then and and then for stuff like this or for a bunch of other stuff, new game, whatever it is, um, the level of trivia kind of exponentially just shoots through the roof, right? Because the people involved in writing and editing it kind of know all about the process, right? So all the details are already there. So they're trying to put the author's trying to put that in, and he's also, because that's his preference, obviously his style. Trying to put in the cute girls and their romantic relationships with him, and he's also trying to put in sort of the introspection, retrospection, the moral, feel good, cathartic, like, oh, but I just have to work harder and just find my own path and do what I really like, and all
Damn,
that
bro,
sort of
you had to
feel
go back
good.
in time for that.
Those sort of feel good generalization, like awakenings. Oh, I actually want to be a singer, blah, blah, blah. And then on top of that, which is like, this is a sort of bonus thing, but I'll give him credit. I'll give the author a little bit of credit. Is he also tries to add in a little bit of the whole like, oh, I came back from the future and I might be fucking with the people that don't know about the future, right? Because I came from 10 years ago and I know all this stuff, right? I know even about their works, right? Because I'm working with the people that will become famous in the future. So I know their stuff, so I have to be a little bit careful. It kind of shows up in like episode 2. It kind of shows up, throughout, a couple of episodes. And it's like these moments where like, why do you know this? And the one of the guys, one of the characters are like, dude, why do you know this? Like, that's really scary. And the MC is just like, oh shit. Like, I only knew this because I'm kind of here from the future. So that sort of juggling is, so there's the fourth stuff, right? It's the covering of the time incidents, or covering sort of the eeriness of like, oh, you came from the future, I can't mess with stuff. There's that. There's the moral introspection, retrospection stuff. There's the cute girls, and there's the animation production trivia kind of stuff. And how do I say this? Normally, again, longtime viewers of the podcast would say Spire's about to, sort of shit on this series, and usually I would,
And you'd
because
be
it's
correct.
yeah, you be correct, yeah. And a lot of this is kind of, because a lot of time when this stuff is being juggled, is very haphazard and it's half baked, and it's like, the romance is kind of there, and then the main character kind of just, the main hero kind of wins, and just like harem stuff happens, and then trivia is kind of there but not really, and then the moral generalizations are like, I have to do better, and it's like, and it suddenly goes into like a silent, like, there's like BGM, there's a hopeful BGM in the background, and then um it just goes to like a bunch of cuts of like people, or still cuts of like people, working earnestly for the festival or whatever it is, right? Or working hard to finish their project for the summer festival, or finish their movie or whatever it is, their indie movie. Um, so a lot of that sort of like Rocky montage kind of stuff, right? Um, so what I want to say that is that this series isn't haphazardly done necessarily. Like, the animation production details and them going through the stuff, it's all there. The not harem-ish, the rom-com stuff is kind of standard, and then the generalization is kind of, it's very like standard. Like, you have to believe in yourself. You have to kind of chase what you like instead of doing this, or you just have to make stuff to uh, you make fun games or products or anime to have people enjoy it, not just because of blah 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 blah, and all these sorts of generalizations, but or platitudes rather. But when I look at this, I'm not angry. I'm more just like, is this sort of the limit? Is this? I'm almost like disappointed or like sad in a sense because it, it's not it's not half-assed, but it's like it still feels like they're just trying to all these parts are just trying to fight each other all the time. And it's very unfortunate because it feels like this is at this sort of max capacity, so to say, of having all these different kind of elements of the series come in. It feels like unless the author is really, really, really willing to put his back into it and just develop all these things to a really good conclusion, it's just this is going to be the limit. This is a ceiling, and it's very kind of disappointing. Where it's like, excuse me, the animation production timeline, the details about making the video game or details about making the movie or whatever it is, it's that's fine, and they're kind of going through it and doing it, and there are some like moments where they're like, MC's got an eerie sense of like this keen awareness. I don't know where he gets it, and the MC's like, oh, he's like thinking to himself, oh, I got it from the future or whatever it is, and those parts are okay. And then the girl part where it's like, oh, I I I'm dorming with a bunch of, cute girls, and they have to do cute girl stuff like, you know, be half naked in front of me and they become embarrassed, or like they're blushing as they visit the, fireworks festival at night with me, or all this sort of like that sort of stuff has to sort of happen. And because the author likes it, and that's sort of, that's the character cast, and that has to happen. And then the author also has to be like, oh, be- because these aren't just, girls being flung at the screen, they're like actual characters, organic characters. I have to have these generalizations or moral sort of growth parts in the moral growth scenes, right? In the anime or in the light novel, where they're just like, I think I'll try to work a little bit harder, or I think I'll work towards what I really like, blah blah blah. And it's very they're just constantly fighting with each other. They're not really synced with each other. It's just like the animation stuff is happening, and the cute girl stuff is happening, and then the moral stuff is happening, and they're just rotating on and on and on and on. And even though none of them are done really shittily, they're all just like very like middling generic kind of stuff. It's just disappointing to see. It feels like it's a ceiling where it's like you either the author either has to put their back into it and really work at it, or it's just not going to happen. The series is not going to be good, and it's very again, it kind of makes me wonder where it's like, at least for an anime, is having a series where they're trying to base it around a specific theme and have all this trivia and have cute girls and have maybe some sort of like cathartic like moral realization or whatever it is, like psychological inspiration. Is this ultimately impossible? Is like that's sort of the way I'm coming to things, to realize things. It's like, is the like I just don't think the 12 episode series and the anime culture as it is right now is just equipped to deal with this. I think it just kind of has to stay in a light novel format, where in a light novel format or in a visual novel format, maybe they can have the themes, they have the time to, expound upon the different themes and the trivia and everything. And they have time to be like, oh, cute girl stuff, blah, 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 blah. And make, the cute girls really good and sexy and seductive or really cute or whatever it is. And they have time to really expound upon the specific psychological themes going on in the series. But I just look at this and it's almost just like an perfect example of just, this 12 episode season anime series where the guys trying to stuff all this into a single series. It's just it's just not working out, and I almost don't think anyone's going to work it out in Japan. Not unless they're a literary genius and they're just like they make the most unique cast of cute girl characters, and they make the most interesting sort of mental psychological like realizations, right? And they talk about that sort of stuff, and they have also a very sort of solid grounded knowledge of a theme that they want to expound on. I don't unless the author has all of this and is a literary genius and can hook all these together and kind of roll them all up without them kind of always trying to fight each other for screen time. I think it's just going to be impossible, and it kind of makes me sad, honestly. It's like because I like all of these, right? I think that's a common thing of a lot of anime fans, right? These days they like the cute girls, and they like it when the series maybe gets a little bit deeper, right? And they like good trivia, right? But then not being able to have all three at the same time on the screen because they're just again just constantly duking each other in the face. Like I gotta have my trivia. No, I gotta have cute girls. No, I gotta have these introspections. Oh, and they're all kind of fighting each other. Kind of just makes me feel sad. So that's sort of what my thought was about it. I wasn't really angry about it. I was a little bit disappointed, and it'll be kind of sad for me if this really is sort of the ceiling of it. But you know, this is the modern culture now. So
Yeah, I think this should have
and
been about a guy trying to make like Fortnite before it came out,
yeah,
trying to
just
scrounge together the resources to make Fortnite before
Yeah.
someone else made Fortnite.
Where's his sports almanac? Like, what the
that's
fuck, dude?
uh, just need to make a bunch of a magazine with a bunch of pictures of animals and just call it National Geographic.
True.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't know, but in all realism, like finding out, I think it was like Toast last time, like during previews, it said like, yeah, that it really doesn't do a lot with the time travel. It's like that's kind of
Yeah.
lame. Like I would really like to see in a series like this, like basically, like I just like to see them go pretty all out with it and try and like tie it in with like time travel. Like if you're gonna use time travel, use time travel. Like actually, do it.
The thing is, it's like I don't necessarily super mind the fact that this is like a relatively generic, like it doesn't really involve time travel, and at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, you're just stuck with a bunch of girls, and you're doing awesome creator animation stuff.
But I
It's
feel
essentially
like
just like
I feel
a
like at that
more
point though, it's like why not just make it like why even have time travel? Like why not just make it like I mean I guess it's like it's not
wouldn't
the
it
same but like
because
Sakurasa or whatever where it's like here are a bunch of like prodigies that you think
yeah,
are
but
better than you.
yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know what it is, but it's like I think in this case, it's like part of the reason why the time travel thing came in hot was because the MC needed to be a solid pillar of support, right, for all the girls, right? And so for that, he couldn't be just like a bum, like a freshman just coming into college, being like, yeah, I'm just a freshman, but also I'm a mentally strong. Like I know everything. I'm such an adult, blah, blah, right? It's like maybe that's like a little thing that
I
they want to
guess.
gloss over, and then so he became the pillar of support, and then that allowed them to kind of spill out all their guts to him, and then that became the whole like introspection retrospection
But
thing.
he's still a
And
fucking bum.
yeah, I
Like,
mean
like
he's a
that's the thing
bum,
is
but
like the problem is
he's a
like
10
what
year
I'm
old
hung
older
up
bum.
on is it's like yeah, so you were like older and now you're back in time, but it's like yeah, but you weren't as successful as them. So like
yeah, you're still above. So what are you talking about,
you
right?
still fucking like lost one job, and then you were like, well, I guess it's all over. So it's like, I don't know, like that's the part that I'm just like why even make this about time travel? Then like you could have had it that these were like prodigies and he's like followed their like early work that they've done and they've all made like these small little like pretty good games that came out, or like he's a fan in like the indie scene or something. Like there's like a dozen different ways you could do this without time travel. And it's like even the time travel thing, it's like I don't know, like I don't want to project like too much meaning into it, but it's like, yeah, he was literally just a fucking bum. Like they don't need like do these characters really need the life advice just because it's like literally fucking some guy? And I get he kind of would have the perspective of like knowing these people are successful later on, but it's like I feel like that's not really enough to be like, yeah, we needed
Mhm.
time travel.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like he wasn't even successful. Like if it was one of those things where it's like he here's another one. He's really successful in the future, but he's a big fan of these like smaller indie devs that aren't getting anywhere.
Mhm.
Goes back in time. Fucking essentially props them up using his own methods or like his own ideas of like knowing how to be successful. Like that's the thing is like you didn't do anything. Like you were worse off than these people. Like without
Yeah.
you being in their lives. So it's like what the like why the fuck would we assume that they're better off now that you're going to the past and fucking with it? Like
The thing that's weird to me, at least, is that well, not weird, but it's just like I'm not particularly really inspired by it. Is sort of going along the lines of what you're just saying, where it's like he's pretty much only really there to be obviously, to see what's going on and to be like, oh, I'm the MC, I'm macking with all the girls. But beyond that, he's acting as sort of the psychological support, right? These girls are all like geniuses and they're going to do famous stuff, or the sidekick guy is also going to be famous and do famous stuff. But he's sort of the adult in kid form, and he's going to be psychological support for them, and they're going to be like, oh man, he's so trustworthy. He can do the chores and he can listen to my worries and blah blah blah. But that's like ultimately all he's there for, right? So he ends up being a very sort of a pretty not even a generic harem protagonist, but it's like a generic MC, right? Where he's just like you're not really doing anything, but he's like a magically like really good moral support. So they'll just tell him everything anyways.
yeah.
And that's a very like again, it's a very middling way to go about things, which is the same sort of theme that I've been harping on this entire review. It's not none of this is like terribly done, but it's all very middling. It's very mediocre.
Well,
I'm just
yeah, I
looking at
mean
it like, yeah,
it
it's like
like that's
whatever.
what I said, like it's like just like he's not doing anything as you described it as like something you need to be a fucking time traveler to do.
Yeah.
Like as much as it's like yeah, he was older. It's like well, especially it's like if they're in college, it's like yeah, he was older, but he also wasn't successful. Like
Yeah.
here's your big psychological support, someone who wasn't exactly stable before they went back to the fucking past. Like,
Shaking my head to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about Bokutachi no Remake. If you want to I don't even know, like, is this even like a decent would you feel decent watching this? Like you like, oh, I spent time watching this. Would you feel good about it? I don't even know. I don't think so. But at least for me, it serves as an example of this is the limit, I think, in my opinion, of anime that wants to stuff everything in. I think this is the limit, and it's a very sad limit, but it is a limit. But yeah, it was unfortunately pretty mediocre. Don't watch it, in my opinion. But unfortunate. But yeah, that was my series. And with that, we're going to move on to Dark. What do you have for us?
Okay. So first things first, I'll get into the hot tub. 3D glasses on. All right, because we got our first of the two-parters. Me and Nier looking real good. I also did this. Don't look at that.
Yeah.
That one's really bad.
Oh
But yeah, so
god, it's full 3D.
yeah, 3D glasses on. So I got D-side. And this is a show
What the
from
fuck is that in the middle? Is that like Kyubey? Is that like
Yeah,
their
that's
version
our
of Kyubey?
that's our mascot character. This is a mobile game, Spire.
Oh my
You aren't.
god.
That's our Paimon. That's our fucking
Can we
Vern.
not? Can we just have one fucking game where it's like I'm not getting
No.
bashed on the head by the cute mascot?
No.
Like,
You're wrong.
apologize,
And no.
dude.
Actually, I guess like Punishing Grey Raven and Arknights kind of don't have that, right? But then they like kind of have the main characters anyway,
Yeah.
which in technicality are like kind of become mascots. But anyway, so yeah, that's our critter in the middle named Triss. But yeah, so this show is about our protagonist. That is the pink-haired guy, and when he was a young fella, probably in like teenager or something, witnessed the murder of his older brother. Where some guy in a black hood just walks up to him in Shibuya and fucking stabs him.
Nice.
At Shibuya Crossing, as you do. No one cared, and everyone
Standard.
moved on. As is, you know, as is the style in Japan.
You're
So
literally just describing the beginning of Gantz right now.
damn real.
Yeah.
I've never seen a moment of Gantz in my entire life. But anyway, so he gets killed. And then now our protagonist is in high school and he likes to do kickboxing, except he fucking sucks. But he always gets back up. And that's his whatever the fuck you call it, style. That's his bloodline technique.
Ninja way.
Yeah. And so just one day he happens to get bit by Triss, and then he has a dream
no.
full of weird creatures that are these like hand things
Wait,
with zipper mouths.
Wait, can I pause for a second? He gets bitten by the mascot?
Yeah, the mascot just like bites people to do stuff. Like it just like kind of
What the
bites them
fuck
to.
is this?
So it's evil.
No.
Yes.
Basically drugs you, and then you have a bad trip, and then you realize, damn, there's
Spider-Man.
monsters, So he fights. So he has like a quote unquote dream where he runs from these like hand creatures with zipper mouths, and then two of the other characters, Aruto and Jessica, blonde-haired girl with the minigun, basically save him from the monsters. And then he thinks it's a dream. Then you know the usual shit. He realizes it's not, and he goes back, and then the creatures like take advantage of your sort of like weakness and try and like turn on you, and then turn you into a monster. But if you're resilient enough, you can transform into something called, and this is the greatest name ever made ever, a quote-unquote knocker-up, which is a person with the ability to confront the monsters hailing from the dreamscape. And then you get some real cool drip, and then you get a real cool weapon. And then you kill monsters. And that's kind of where it goes from there. This show so far has been fairly episodic in that it's like, you know, here's your here's your
Really?
episode, here's your character. Well, because what it is it has the underlying storyline of there's basically people handing out crystal meth that is letting people summon monsters for their wishes, which
It's a
then
pretty good deal.
that
But
the
usually,
monsters then
don't
like
these?
basically twist your wish and then take you over. Like one girl
Okay.
is like her father's like abusive, um, and so she's like, I fucking like I wish he was just like not around. Um, and so then the monster like takes over her, turns her into a giant monster. The protagonist beats like. Actually, no. I think the protagonist just gets his shit kicked in so hard that eventually the monster's just like, damn, it's kind of fucked up. And then that girl transforms into one of the knocker ups too. Um,
What?
and then that's how
Okay.
they beat the monster, because the
What?
monster transforms into whatever. She like fucking overtakes it because she's like, damn man, you really took those hits.
Is this like Persona? Like, what's
Yeah,
going on
kinda.
here?
I don't know. And then she gets drip, and then she gets like these bladed arm things, and then she tells her dad he's fucking lame and gay, and that she'd beat him up, and then he kind of just begrudgingly walks out of the room. So there
so,
you
so,
go,
so is,
family abuse solved, and that's one episode. And that's kind
wait,
of where it goes. It's just
is
like
it
shit like
pretty
that.
strictly episodic? Is it pretty strictly episodic, or is it mini arcs?
It hasn't really gotten that far enough to really like delve into much of the backstory. I feel like it's going to get a little bit less episodic once we get like the full cast. Because like right now, um, so far it's like only like the first 5 characters or whatever, and then there's still like 2 or 3 more I think that need to get added. So it's probably going to
Right.
be their trials and tribulations, and then we get into the deep dark. Because
Yeah.
again,
So,
the way
so,
these
so
people are transforming
yeah.
is they're getting these like dream-inducing drugs that let them summon these monsters. Also, there's some shit where like people keep getting these symbols drawn on their foreheads after they die or whatever in those dreams. And like his brother had one of those on his forehead when he died, even though they showed him getting stabbed and he didn't have one on it. So like maybe they drew it on it after. Either way, it's a little unclear. But you know, basic shit of evil organization pulling the strings.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked that was because usually, for one reason or other, I don't know how these scenario writers really think, but it's despite it being like a mobile game kind of thing, and it's a little bit harder to transfer the story into the anime. They usually do try to have some sort of like they have the setup. They introduce the characters in like the first 2 to 4 or 5 episodes or whatever, and then from like episodes 5 through 12 or whatever, they usually tend to have a pretty unified like arc, right? Or like they
Yeah,
kind of look into something.
this
Okay,
may
that's
very
how
well
it
start to do
happened.
that.
Oh, okay. No, I was just wondering about that because it's very unusual for a mobile game or mobile game anime adaptation to strictly just be like episodic or like very like just like
No,
um
I mean I doubt it's
small.
gonna stay episodic in this way all the way through.
Okay.
But for now it very much has been, which is all right. You
Okay.
know.
Um,
So
about
what
the
else to get
3D,
into?
the
Yeah,
3D
it's all
CGI.
3D CG, but again, this is the
Jesus
same
Christ.
studio that did Babuki Baranki, so it actually looks really good.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, this isn't like B stars or fucking I can't think of the name, Hoseki no Kuni, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was speaking of
Yeah.
Kuni. Yeah.
So it's not like that level, but I would say this is probably some of the best you're gonna get based on like all around. Like the motion at times is kind of whack. It's like not that it's like in certain things. The motion for action's pretty good.
Okay.
The overall like environments and character models quite good. The directing and like camera work itself also pretty solid. So it's not like there's in this show it's like way more well rounded. And just yeah,
There's a
it's
lot of
just
money
like
going into this though, right? Because it's like,
probably because it is the
um,
multimedia project for the mobile game. So
yeah, and both Bushiroad and Bamco are kind of pushing their shit into this. And Sanjigen is, from what it looks like, I think it's like the 3D, like it's kind of just like a 3D subcontractor studio where like people are just, just calling them whenever they need something like decently in 3D. They have, done, what is it? I think their earlier stuff was a little bit suspect because they did stuff like, what is it, like Black Rock Shooter, but then they've also did stuff like Traumerei and uh, uh, uh what is it, Arpeggio of Blue Steel and stuff like that. So they've probably become a lot better since then.
yeah, I mean, Babuki Baranki itself was. I mean, I thought that it was really good. I thought it looked really cool. I thought it had some really cool designs and really cool environments. Um, come to think of it, maybe, damn, they probably just reused that hand rig, did. Either way, um, I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely, it's probably like the best you're gonna get for like a full 3D CG series right now. Um, so yeah, I think this is a good series. Story aside, I mean, the story itself is like kind of whatever so far. Maybe it'll get better.
Mhm.
If it stays standard, fine. Some of the action looks quite cool. Some of the designs are really cool. So I don't think. I mean, like, I don't really think that's a bad thing. I think this is a decent promo series for a mobile game. I think it's got some decent stuff going on. I don't think it's nothing like world changing. I wouldn't say it's like if this was a 2D series with like standard audio visuals, I'd be like, cares. I think it being CG from this studio kind of also adds a little bit to it because I want to see what they can do. And I would say it's
Mhm.
from memory, it's an improvement over Babuki Baranki, which I thought looked pretty good already. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff from this studio for sure. I would like for them to be able to do like another original or something like Babuki Baranki over this,
Right.
but I suppose we'll see. Because that is the thing too. It's like, keep in mind, like, I would say the only problem with this show is literally just the story. Like, nothing else I've had an issue with other than the story.
Right. I mean, the story. I think, not to disparage this sort of genre or this sort of type of series, but I don't hold much, like, whenever I hear, yeah, a game adaptation or mobile game is getting an anime adaptation, I have very little hope for
Well,
the
yeah,
story
because
ending.
it's not like this mobile
Um,
game has a fucking.
FGO, Babylonia,
Yeah,
hello.
that's kind of working with a little bit more than a. See, I wouldn't even say mobile game adaptation, right? Because even like season one of fucking Grand Blue is all right. And then trying to think of another mobile game adaptation. I don't know. What was the one with the Sword Boys? That one was like pretty good, all right, wasn't it?
uh,
Or was
um,
Token Rambu a mobile game adaptation, or was it a show that then got a mobile game?
No, it
I'm
was
all,
definitely an
it was a
adaptation.
game. It was a game. It was a game
Okay.
that became uh,
Well, yeah, it's
an adaptation,
technically a browser game, but
just
you
like
know,
Congo.
Whatever, just like
yeah.
Grand Blue. Grand Blue's technically a browser game.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, so I would say the big red flag is whenever it's like, the new multimedia project of like, yeah, we're gonna release a mobile game and here's what we're doing on the lead up. It's like, ooh, I don't know about that. That can get a little sketch, a little scuffed. Like not, eh, like FGO, like Grand Blue. they have a pretty big like established base. Like I was even gonna say like, oh, what if they made like a fucking, I don't know, fucking Arknight series or something. But it's like even that, like all of these things already have the game out. So it's like you kind of have that attachment, or you have like the game is established.
Hmm.
With this, it's like the game isn't even established. It doesn't seem to be working off of what the game is going to be in a lot of ways. This seems like an adaptation of the game
Right.
where like I don't think this guy's going to be the main character if I remember correctly. Like I think the MC is going to be like it's, choose male or female. Here's these two vaguely similar designs like MCs, and then he'll probably be a character in it and stuff like that. So I think like all around like that is kind of where it gets shaky too. Because when you think about it, it's
Right.
like, you know, FGO Babylonia, Grand Blue, Season 1, those are like working off of literally what the game is. You
Right.
know?
Right.
So
It has a lot of more stuff that's already been developed, essentially.
yeah, well it's also you can tell like you can tell where it's the game, right?
Hmm.
Like you can kind of tell like where FGO, you're like, oh, okay, here's like what the game was. Like you have these servants, you have like the summons, and then it's like you have the different singularities and shit. It's like with this, I mean, it's not even just because I haven't played the game. It's also that like since they're adapting it, you can't like really the only thing that you can tell about like the game is like okay, you have mascot character, you have like weird enemies. Like nothing about like evil organization tells you game. Nothing about fucking dream drug tells you game. You know? Whereas like
Right.
FGO, you're like, oh, okay, you have singularities, you have like all these servants, you have just like all that stuff, like kind of, I feel like is more of you can see like where the game is, especially like, seeing the what's it called shots in FGO where it goes back to like Da Vinci and stuff in the whatever the fuck you want to call it. Nier knows what I'm trying to bring up. But like that kind of
Huh?
stuff, like how in FGO Babylonia, like it cuts back to Da Vinci and Doctor whatever the fuck his name is.
Romani?
Yeah, Dr. Romani. Like that kind of stuff, like you kind of see that and you're like, oh, okay. So like the game, you go to these singularities. These are like your characters that send you there, and you're basically like your team, like giving you a heads up in there. Um, but as far as like this goes, since they're adapting it, I guess like it would be the equivalent of if like there is an FGO adaptation where it was like just MASH. And they tried to spin it as like just like here's just like a Fate series, and it's like just MASH, and MASH goes around.
they did try to do that and it wasn't very good. Um
Well, there you go.
yeah.
Well, isn't that kind of reminds me of what the prequel to anime ended up being, right? Where it's just like, yeah, it's just the three just making fucking making fucking food and shit, and it's like, oh,
Nah,
okay.
Yeah.
but like the pre-Kona anime, I mean, the pre-Kona anime still had the MC to like tie everything together, and it had like that story.
Yeah,
And
but it was
Yes.
mostly just slice of life shit,
yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, which
Like
I mean can work for sure. Like
Right.
that
yeah.
can work for a show, but I feel like pre-Kona would have been lesser if it didn't have like the actual MC and the like backstory shit strung throughout. Like I think it would have been it would have felt a lot stranger, as like a specifically to be like a tie-in to the mobile. Like it would feel weird.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I would compare that to that sort of thing. Remove essentially that and readapt it to try to remove a lot of the semblances of it being a mobile game at some point. And that like
Mhm.
kind of that like that doesn't work because it's supposed to be a mobile game tie-in. Now, granted, I could be completely wrong about all of this because I haven't played the mobile game. This guy could be the main character. Pretty sure he's not, though, from the pictures I've seen and the gameplay I've seen. So, but overall, I think visually, like audio visuals, pretty nice. Definitely worth checking out for that and to just like peek. Maybe I'll get, maybe you'll like the story. Maybe I'll get involved in it and want to see more about these characters. Who knows? It definitely doesn't deserve a 5.7 on Mall, but it's also a Mall. So,
Yeah.
Well, mall ratings are obviously the best resource. So.
Incredibly accurate and always correct. Yes.
so yeah. Pretty good stuff. Hope to see more from this studio in the future. Hopefully more originals or
Yeah. I want
mobile
Bubuki
games that are
Baraki
already out.
Season 3.
That would be not make sense, but maybe they could
Nope.
do it.
That would be cool.
It would be pretty cool. Hey, wild idea. Do a fucking Babuki Baranki mobile game and do a fucking season 3 of that. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Free
I don't know.
idea.
I don't know how much sway Bubuki Baraki has as an IP, but you know.
We can fucking hey, you can make anything have sway if you push it hard enough.
True.
Just make people think it has sway, and then there you go.
Yeah, the hit series.
Then
Bubuki Baraki.
the world renowned, like release a trailer that says that, like the world renowned series, Babuki Baranki, and people will flock to it. You know.
Just
Also, this
just tell
this
just
show
tell them
doesn't
it's
have
from
as good of
Studio
an
Orange.
opening as that.
I think that's a real tech.
Yeah, it's from Studio Orange, but like not really Studio Orange. They're like kind of like Studio Orange when you really think about it.
It's like if Studio Orange got mixed up with Crunchyroll originals. That's sort of how it works.
No, not quite that. No, I would say it's like Studio Orange, but like watered down. So like not quite there, but it's like you can get a little taste, you know? It's definitely not like blending it with garbage though. So there's that.
Yeah. Any last words? D side.
Yeah, I would say check it out. You know, support this studio by giving it some eyes, because this studio
Also,
is
check out
pretty
Bubuki
cool.
Baraki.
Also, yes. Also,
check out
actually,
Bubuki
do them in either order. You're gonna get something out of either order you do it in. You're either gonna get to see a little bit more of an improvement with this series visually, but like be like on the story. But if you check it out and then you check out Bubuki Baranki, and you're like, oh, all right, this is like pretty solid story and cool visuals. And if you do it the other way around, then you'll just get to see the evolution essentially of the studio visually. So, do one or the other. I would say check out both though.
Okay. Nice. Thank you, Dark, for helping to cover D side. Again, this is a mobile game original. I believe it's done by Bushiroad and Bamco, right? It is done by Bandai
Sure
Namco.
is.
And then it was made again into the current anime adaptation that you see today, headed by the 3D CGI main studio, Sanzigen Studios. So check it out. And last but not least, Nier. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, I have another fully 3D, well, mostly 3D series. I watched Nighthead 2041. I always forget what this series is called.
Yeah, why the year thing is
Yeah. This is by Studio Shirogumi, and they've done I guess they've done like assisting stuff on a couple things. I guess they helped out with a few like 3D movies that have come out past few years. Um, I think they helped out. I no, they did. Yeah, okay, they did. Um, Etotama. If you remember
Oh,
that.
Etatama.
Um,
Yes, I do remember. That was one hell
Etotama.
of a series.
Yeah,
That was
Etotama
weird.
came
That was
out quite
very
a
weird.
while ago. It was a very strange series. It was basically pretty much only made to flex CG. Um,
Yes, pretty much.
and
It wasn't even like it wasn't even like they didn't even really because it was like 99% of it was just like chibi anime girls with like animal hair like ears like Kimono Mimi just running
yeah,
around fucking women like sparks just flying everywhere, right? And I was like,
yeah, and
okay.
then there were random moments where they were like fighting and stuff, and it was like
Yeah.
super dramatic, and it looked good at the time. In my opinion, and it was solid CG. Um, just kind of weird as a
It was
series.
very weird series, yeah.
But anyway, flash forward. Fuck, that was 6 years ago. Holy shit. Um,
I feel this.
but yeah. Now we have Nighthead 2041, which is um, if you couldn't guess it, I guess like quote unquote cyberpunk sci-fi series. Set in the year 2041, apparently, question mark, maybe not, I don't know. Um, it is a post World War III world, maybe, question mark, I don't know. Um, where uh, 2/3 of the human population have been wiped out due to natural disasters and World War III, and apparently World War III also causing natural disasters. I don't know. It's all fucked up. And uh, this is, of course, set in Japan. Somehow the world has been racked with horrible natural disasters, and yet Japan, this tiny, tiny island, surrounded by ocean, is perfectly fine. But never mind that. Um, and in Japan, the government has completely outlawed uh, the belief in supernatural phenomena, or really the belief in anything. The concept of believing in anything that isn't science or uh, something that can't be physically proven, whatever that means. Um, and to believe is a thought crime, and you will be arrested. Um,
Is this like going down the psychopath route? What's happening here?
um, sort of, but not in a good way. Um, yeah. So, uh, yeah, it doesn't really get too into it. But yeah, like just believing in like you know magic or God or um like I don't know magic tricks. Really anything that isn't like slightly goes against science is like yeah, we're gonna call this insanely uh overgeared militarized special ops team, and we're probably gonna shoot you dead. Um,
It's like Suicide Squad, but not as good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the state of the world. And our characters are I guess a a pair of a pair of pairs. Um, there's two sets of two characters. Uh, one set is within I forget what it's called. It's abbreviated to the SWE. Um, I forget what it's actually called. Um, but they're basically super cops. They got these cool ass robot suits. They shoot these big ass guns, and they kill people for believing in God. It's pretty cool.
That's not true. They
Uh,
kill people for believing in anything that isn't tangible.
yeah, they kill people for believing.
They're like equilibrium on crack.
Yeah, except not quite as cool. Um,
It's like that. It's like the scene of the Matrix where it's like he's beginning to believe, and it's like
yeah,
Yeah, and then they
he's
shoot him.
beginning to believe. Arrest him.
Oh
Um,
my god.
but yeah, they're pretty cool. Um, I'm not really too sure what's going on with them other than like they shoot people. But anyways, the other pair of characters is the white-haired duo. Um, I forget their names. Um, uh, Naoya and uh, fucking something. I don't remember. But anyway, they're psychics. They got magic brain
Now,
powers.
yeah, Naoto.
Yeah, yeah, very
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 fitting.
original. And they're a bit more interesting as characters. They were, I guess, discovered as psychics at a very young age. They were taken away from their parents in apparently the year 2014, um, which was a while ago. And they've been in a lab ever since. And they've recently gotten out of the lab. I'm not too sure how. The series kind of starts off just in the middle of things. As Japan likes to do with anime series, especially those set in the future. They kind of just like to drop you in the middle of things and not explain anything. But yeah, they've just gotten out of the lab. They found a car full of money in the middle of the woods. So that's pretty cool. And they're completely unaware of what's going on in the world. They have no idea that World War III has even happened. They have no idea why the government has completely outlawed um, the belief in anything non-tangible. Um, and uh, apparently within the lab, they were working on bringing spiritual energy to the world. But
What the fuck
now
is
that the
this shit?
government now that the government has gotten in the way of things, that's probably not happening. And also, uh, like I said, they got taken away from their parents in I think it was 2014, and they believe that they've been in the lab for like what was it, like 15 years? So they expected it to be like the year 2029 or whatever, but it's the year 2041, and whoa, they don't know what's going on. Um, but anyway, the basic storyline is it's a fucking anime that is set in the future, and it's a two sets of characters that are like intercrossing storylines every once in a while, and occasionally they fight each other, they shoot at each other. There's some conspiracy bullshit going on, um, with what exactly is going on with the government. Um, the super cops are tasked with like shooting and killing psychics, but also they have to awaken their own psychic powers because sometimes psychics are good as long as they're killing other psychic people. Um, yeah, the series is kind of a mess, as one would expect. Um, but it sometimes sort of looks kind of nice, I guess. Uh, it's a weird series. So, um, the CG itself, like I said, is done by a studio that did Edotama, which at the time I thought looked quite nice. But I think now it's kind of like standard, you know.
Yeah, it's
You
it's
know,
it's kind of there, and a lot of times the usage is for like that level of CG is mainly for stuff like Edutama, where a lot of it's more chibi or simplified designs
yeah.
instead of Nighthead.
Yeah, so within Nighthead, there are a few shots that, in my opinion, are very nice looking. A lot of the environments, in some shots look very nice. When the super cops are in their cool suits, they look quite cool. Got red and blue lights, and they've got all these like vents and stuff on them. They're very cool looking.
Mm.
Um, but unfortunately, a lot of the action in this series is kind of just like shooting guns, and like blurring the screen with like psychokinesis powers. Um, there's a lot of like broken glass and stuff flying around, which is cool. But I feel like you don't really need a show to be entirely CG to do that. Um, but I don't know. I mean, some of it looks good, some of it looks really whack. Like some of the movement is very stiff sometimes. Um, some of the environments are kind of just like square rooms that have like a flat concrete texture, Um, but then some of them look really nice. Some of them have a lot of really nice shading, a lot of really cool like particle effects flying around,
Right.
stuff like that. So it's kind of flip floppy. Um, there's a scene I think in episode 1 where you know the psychic twins, or they're not twins but they're brothers. Um, they're in like a bar, right, and they're kind of like figuring out that the world is all fucked up. Uh, and there's like this dude that's accosting them within the bar, and they get in a fight, and the guy like throws a bottle at the older brother, and he like stops it with his mind, and it goes into like a slow motion thing. It looks pretty cool, because the camera pans all around and that, but it doesn't do that too often. Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks okay. Yes. Uh, Not the most impressive thing, but it's not like ugly, you know. It's definitely, I'd say it's probably better than some fully CG shows. Some shows that come out fully CG and they're uh like their shaders are all fucked up and the models are not very detailed. You know, um, the series does have very pretty detailed models. The characters have pretty striking designs, I think, in my opinion. This series aesthetic is
It's at least unique.
yeah, I like it a lot. It's an aesthetic that uh I kind of fall for, especially when you have
I
fucking you got the psychic dude, and he's got the jacket with the fur collar, and he's got the white
know, I know,
hair
I know
and
what
the
your tastes are.
glasses, and he's got
Yes.
red eyes. You know, you know. Anyway, um, so there's that. But as for the story, it's I don't know. It feels really generic, but it also feels like it's not really doing it, you know? So, cuz like I said, you have like this team of super cops, right? Which is from our perspective like a team of 4. It's like the handpicked squad or whatever. And they're like the best of the best. They're the best at shooting people that believe in God. Um and because of that, they've been picked to awaken their own psychic powers. So that way, they can use their psychic powers to kill other people that have psychic powers. Because the existence of people with psychic powers would create social chaos, and they need to be killed. Because that makes sense. Um, so that plot line's there. It's kind of whatever. But so far in like the 4 episodes that are out, a lot of it is like, yeah, the one dude in the squad, the guy with like the peachy pinkish hair, like he has awakened to his powers, but he can't control them. Too powerful, dangerous. Um, but they're like the main thing they've done so far is they've gone into this. They went to this school that's having like this, like a bunch of suicides, and they tracked down this secret club that these kids are doing, where they're like looking into black magic and stuff, right? And they find out that the reason all these suicides are happening is because these kids that were um, like practicing this black magic shit, they ended up killing this one kid's dog for
Fuck.
like animal blood, right? For some fucking ritual. And
Okay.
the kid was so fucking filled with rage that he got super duper omega psychic powers, and he's like mind
Oh, so
controlling them to
s-
commit suicide,
that
right?
that's a standard. That's a classic, right? Though it's like the anger makes him like a bad sort of psychic villain,
Yeah,
like awakening dude. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
And
it's like the
so
it's like the anti super saiyan kind of thing that's happening these
yeah.
days.
And so like the squad like tracks this kid down. Uh, they tase him in the neck, which is pretty metal. They bring him into the HQ, right? And then for some reason he is like when he's I guess like sedated or whatever. They put him in a room,
Okay.
and I guess he's completely unsupervised. So he wakes up and he starts possessing people within the HQ, and he kills a shitload of people. Um, and then like his mom is like, "There's no way my kid would ever kill anybody." Um,
Okay.
until she sees her kid like killing a shitload of fucking people. And then she's
Going
like,
full alpha lead all of them.
yeah, and then she's like, "Bro, stop! Like you need to stop." And
Bro, please.
he's like, "Okay, I'll stop." Until he
What?
sees, the one person that tased him in the fucking neck, right? And
Oh
then he's like, "Wait a
god.
minute, I won't stop. I'm gonna kill more people." Um,
What the fuck is this?
yeah, and so really the whole thing is like, oh, like the super cops, they basically just want to kill the kid, right? Like, half of them are just like, why don't we just fucking shoot this kid, right? Like, he is fucking evil. He has killed like
I mean, he's
he killed
not,
like he killed
but
like four he killed like four students in the school with like these gruesome fucking suicides. Like, and then he's killed like an entire base full of uh like soldiers. And
I would
then
do a
As you
lot
do.
more for a lot less.
uh-huh. And then like you know, like the obvious solution is just like dumb this kid. Like just fucking shoot him. Like he's apparently one of the most powerful psychics that this team has ever come across. Just like put a bullet in his head, right? Like it,
Yeah, but then that
like
would make you
problem
just as
solved.
bad as him.
Uh-huh.
You have to
But
save
then
him.
like
You have to salvage him.
yeah,
Salvation.
but then the other pair of characters, our psychic brothers are also like they're also looking for this kid, and they're like, we have to save him. And I'm like, why? This kid is evil. He's bad.
I
He's
mean, he's
he's
not,
killing
but
people.
is he that evil though?
Yes,
Because it's
he's
like this is
he's
the
literally
evil
evil. He
government,
is
and they fucking
fully
tased him in the neck, and now he's like, well, fuck these people. Like
yeah,
the
except
government fucking
like
put a bag over my head and took me in for no good fucking reason, after killing people that killed my dog. By the way, you know who else did that? John Wick, and he's a fucking hero. So
yeah, except like a lot of these people that are in this HQ are literally just doing their job. Like,
yeah, you know who
and
else was
he's
in a
also killing
regime
them.
doing their job?
God damn
Think
it.
about
He's also
that for a
killing them in
second,
like
sir.
horrible ways. But anyway, this kid is evil. Like he's straight up evil. He's fully conscious of what he's doing. Like he's not in like a trance state or anything. And like he's aware of what he's doing. Um,
Uh,
but anyway, that's really all that's happened in the series so far. There's only like 4 episodes out, so not a whole lot has happened.
so
There's
is
a
this
lot of
going to
there's
be?
a lot of
Is this not
intersecting
a mini arc?
storylines and stuff.
This is not a mini arc, right? This is like part of a series long, season long plot, right?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been introduced. Like I said, there's some conspiracy shit going on. Um, I'm assuming this thing with the kid is a mini arc, but it ties into like this whole overarching arc because pretty much everything that's happening keeps tying back to this like mysterious girl that keeps showing up. Like she keeps appearing in people's visions and like disappearing and saying cryptic bullshit. Um,
Fuck is that?
she's probably some like psychic super duper chosen one, and whatever cryptic bullshit she's saying is like some prophecy that is going to prevent like the end of the world or going to prevent the super omega evil government from taking over everybody's brains and becoming like uh, fucking master hand. I don't know, but like yeah, pretty much everything is like eh, it's pretty much everything you'd expect from like a sci-fi like dystopian, like the government is controlling the people kind of series. Like there's a shitload of plot lines that are introduced very early on. um they're all moving at a really annoyingly slow pace. They're all
It's a
really
12
cryptic.
episode series, right?
um I don't know. Miles says unknown. I would assume it's 12 episodes. I can't really
Mhm.
imagine this being like a 24. That seems a
Like,
little
It's actually
unreasonable.
a 58 episode series.
Yeah,
With recap episodes
yeah.
in the
This is
middle.
a 128 episode series. But I don't know. Like I said, the aesthetic is cool. The visuals are solid. But like the storyline and the plot and a lot of the character interactions are like literally everything you would possibly expect from like a dystopian like sci-fi anime. And it's really annoying. It's just kind of annoying to see like series after series kind of fall into the same like you know oh the government's evil and it's controlling the people. Like I feel like the last series that like
I mean,
pulled
that's been. I mean, that's not even an anime thing, right? That's been a problem since time immemorial.
yeah sure but like I don't know man it's just like it feels more blatantly like generic in anime. You know what I mean? I feel like it falls into the same trapping a lot of
They
the
don't.
time.
They don't. I think a part of it is they don't have time to sort of nuance it more than have the government. Like the government is initially this monolithic thing. Like, hey, we're fucking you in the ass, and we have the money and the power to do so, right? And
Yeah,
that's sort of the initial setup. But usually in an anime, there's not that much nuance to go beyond the whole like Empire versus Rebels.
I think the main one of the main issues with this series, like I've watched episode 1 and a little bit, but the way it starts is like so breakneck that it's
yeah.
like
Like
it
it.
opens up and it's like, by the way, don't believe in anything. There's literally a loudspeaker of like a woman basically making an announcement of like, yeah,
If you
keep in
believe in
mind
anything
that
that
you
isn't
can't
science,
believe in
you will be
anything.
fucking domed in the head on the
Yeah,
spot.
because
It's
you
like,
will be
okay, dude.
fucking executed because we don't need any of that shit. Believe only what's right in front of you and what you can see. No dreaming here, okay? It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
And later on it gets like cartoonishly evil. Like, yeah, the government is fucking evil, bro. Did you know? Cuz it's like later on, I think in episode 3 or 4, I'm not 100% sure, but like the psychic brothers uh they like hook up with these rebels, right? Like they're fighting the government and they literally call themselves like the fucking like freedom of speech fighters or some shit. It's like first of all, that's fucking cringe. Second of all, like there's like 3 of them. But anyway,
Well, yeah,
they
fighters,
go
plural. 3, alright.
yeah, they literally drive right in front of the HQ and apparently in front of like the HQ for like the super cops um they have these like glass cells and they're literally like right on the side of the road and they're supposed to be like literally for public display like shaming people that have been arrested, right? And it shows some people that have been arrested earlier on in the series, but then it shows this like 4-year-old girl and she's like alone in this white cell and like these citizens are like screaming at her and being like you're a fucking criminal, like fuck you. And it's like what did she do? Like one
Is this
character
turning
asks
into
She
like
fucking
Digimon
believes
Tamers or
in
something?
Santa
What's
Claus,
happening?
dude. Like,
one character is like what did she do to get arrested? And it was like she drew a picture of a wizard. It's like, bro, like this is goofy. Like this is ridiculous. Like,
It's very
also,
it's like
woo, yeah. You can't draw a fucking picture of a wizard while
yeah, like the
our fucking
citizens are
super
like,
cops have fucking helmet visors on and fucking strobe lights strapped into them. Like,
yeah,
okay.
it's insane. But anyway, like, you know, like absurdity aside, I don't know. I forget where it's
well,
going
it's
with this.
just
But it's just like,
can I
It
also
it
add
doesn't it
something?
doesn't introduce it, at least in the beginning, like in a way where you're like, okay, I can see how society has gotten to this point.
yeah,
It's like, how the fuck did this
there's no
happen?
midpoint where it's like there's no timeline that it presents to you where it's like this is the way society developed and this is why. It's literally just like World War III happened. Humanity got fucked up. By the way, believing in God is illegal. It's like what? Huh? And then later on, it's like they're hinting that World War III didn't happen, like right, like because there's this conversation that happens where it's like um apparently there's like there's only one movie that talks about like World War III happening in the past,
It
and
hasn't been that
apparently
long though.
apparently it was like 18 years ago, something like that. But anyway, they say it's constantly playing. It's literally always playing. It's on TV screens, like in the middle of the street. It's like on
The
loudspeakers
fuck?
stuff like that. It's literally always playing. And so one of the characters is like, is this like some kind of mass hypnosis thing? And then another character is like, what are you talking about, dude? That's stupid. Um, but like then they all go like, yeah, I don't really remember World War III happening, but it definitely did happen. Yep, it definitely happened. It's like, guys, this is really on the nose. Like this isn't subtle at all.
It's also
Um,
not far back enough for that to be like even remotely reasonable.
yeah,
Like,
but keep in mind this is literally a world where the government is utilizing fucking psychic powers to suppress the belief in the
I suppose it.
supernatural.
Okay, true.
So, you know,
Fair enough. I forgot.
there's de-
They are
there's definitely
using
bullshit
their
going
own
on.
weapons that they fucking say are like.
Yeah, but like I don't know, it's really cartoonish. It's very like black and white. I feel like the last series that kind of pulled off the like, the evil government is controlling you, but like there is some kind of nuance to it was ironically Psychopaths. Like Psychopaths, like at the end of Psychopaths season 1, like
Mhm.
they don't shut down the big bad government because like they realize like it's necessary. Like the way like the civil system in Psychopaths is necessary for society to work in the world that Psychopaths is in, right? Like
Mhm.
so the characters kind of just have to like work their way around it, you know. But in this, it's just like yeah, government evil. They jail children. It's like okay,
Can
dude.
I
Well,
can I
look,
ask?
dude, even with the kid you were talking about earlier, with like he's fucking mind controlling people. It's not even like these people bullied him. They fucking killed his dog for a sacrifice. Like, that's already like fucked up. Like that I would say that's also like cartoonishly evil. Like, oh, what did they do? They fucking killed his dog. Like, come on now. Like, you couldn't make it like something like they fucking pushed him down and made fun of him for a while.
The Japanese don't do that.
It's like they fucking it's like yeah, like they fucking skinned his dog and wore it around in front of him. It's like, oh, okay. That is true though, you're right, especially with real events.
Can I ask something? Because there might be, at least in my opinion, there's one situation where, or one sort of context where this might be a little bit more acceptable, where it's like there are series that sort of focus on trying to throw the ideas of the theme, of the more abstract theme, around in the series rather than focusing on the realities of that application within the world, if that makes sense, right? Stuff like Cowboy Bebop, Aparerama, and whatever, right? Stuff like that are a lot more just like, yeah, there's this thing going on, but a lot of it's just like it's not really the focus, right? The organic world isn't really the focus. So does Nighthead give that same sense to you? Or is
No.
Nighthead actually like, we actually want this to be a somewhat realistic world?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't.
Because
See,
you see what I'm going at, right? Because it's like if
yeah,
they
yeah.
literally were just like, yeah, we're just gonna focus on like this being all cheesy and blah blah blah, then you could kind of make a case for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, it's tricky, right? Because it's not
Right.
100% serious. Like, it's not super duper serious because,
Mhm.
because it sort of knows when to be like, okay, like the rules that this world have set are are a little silly because there's a scene. I think it's, is it in episode one? I don't remember. I think it might be in episode two. Um, but there's a scene where they're in a diner, right? Like they're these characters are in a diner, and there's this guy, and he's reading Akira, the manga, right? Um,
Okay.
like it's literally Akira. Um, and these guys are talking about like how like, oh bro, you shouldn't be reading that, dude, you're gonna get arrested. um so like you know, there are moments where it's like, it's kind of like, sort of, I guess, like kind of like taking a jab at itself, but then there are other times where it's like, yeah, like we have to eradicate the psychics because they'll create social terror. It's like, what are you talking about? This is fucking stupid, you know? And it's not like it's played 100% serious. So, like, I don't know. I feel like it wants you to take it seriously. Like it wants you to treat it like a world, like you know, the world is like a focus, you know, like, because I'm pretty sure the whole idea, like, I'm sure the way this series is going to develop is like, you know, the government has been lying. World War III probably didn't happen. You know,
Mhm.
something else fucked up happened, or they're like, you know, hoarding resources or whatever the fuck. They've been, you know, lying to like the population, whatever, you know, something bad. And then uh, all the characters up until this point that have been sort of butting heads, clashing, and you know, fighting each other because you know, the super cops have to shoot the psychics, and the psychic kids are trying to save other psychics, even though they're literally murdering dozens of people at a time. Um, you know, they have to band together and fight the evil government or some stupid bullshit. I don't know. Um, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this isn't really kind of the one of those series where the world is kind of just like there, and it's like, you know, sort of a don't think about it thing.
Mhm.
I think the world is very much set up to be like a focal point of the series. Like the fact that, you know, believing in literally anything that is non-tangible is like a crime that is punishable by
So they
like
set up the world to actually make sense, what you're saying. Instead of just being like, "Yeah, this world is kind of there," and then we're focusing on kind of
I
the people
think
talk about the theme.
I think they set up the world in a way to where they want you to take it seriously. I don't think they set it up in a way
Okay.
to where it makes sense, um, because they literally haven't really explained anything at all. They kind
I
of
feel like
just they
if they didn't want it, if they didn't want you to take it seriously, they wouldn't play the like super cops so straight. Like
yeah,
they would ham it up like even harder.
yeah. I don't know. Like they basically just put the world on a plate in front of you, and they're just like, eat it. You know what I mean? Like this is what
Like,
you're
this is
getting.
what it
You know
is.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
this is what it is. Yeah.
Because like I said, the series starts like in the middle of it. Like, it doesn't explain anything to you at all. Um, like you're just, this is the world. The year is 2041. Um, believing in shit is illegal. By the way, here's some super cops shooting a bunch of people. And also they have psychic powers? Question mark. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna go from here. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, yeah, it's not something that's like, yeah, you know, um, here's the world, and yeah, you know, here's the characters. We're just gonna have fun with it, kind of thing. It's very much played 100%, like, well, maybe not 100%, but it's like 99% serious. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so I don't know. It's just, it feels a little bit. unfortunate that it's kind of like it's just kind of falling into the same plot lines that a lot of these, you know, dystopian sci-fi series kind of fall into. Um,
It tried to go hard in the head, or hard on the paint. Tried to go hard on the paint, but then the writers weren't up to the task of making the world sort of palatable enough, let's say palatable enough to a thinking audience to make the story good enough.
I
To just
just
make the story.
I think it tried to do too much too fast. You know what I mean? Because like it immediately throws the world at you, and then it immediately throws these sets of characters at you, and
Right.
then it kind of just expects you to catch up. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Where it's like the viewer kind of doesn't really know what's going on, obviously because you started in midi res, um, but then like the characters kind of just like nothing is really brought up, outside
mhm.
of like the psychic brothers are sort of out of the loop as well, but like all of their catching up is done off screen. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, okay.
they'll be in a scene where they'll be like, wait a minute, the world is 2041? What the hell? And then like they'll cut over to the super cops doing shit, and then they'll cut back to the psychic brothers, and then they'll be like, I've learned this and this and this. Anyway, moving on. And it's like, okay, like we're just
Like,
gonna gloss
can we
over
sit
that,
down
all
and
right?
mull over this? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's very fast, and it introduces a lot of stuff really quick, and I think it doesn't give you time to kind of settle into things before it like immediately expects you to be like just completely chill with the fact that you know the super cops are also learning psychic powers for some reason. You know what I mean?
Right,
Um,
right.
Yeah, they're gonna find
it's
out that everyone's a psychic, and also they're telling people World War III happened, so that World War III doesn't happen.
true, but yeah, I don't know. It looks cool, I guess. Sometimes, what sort of, yeah. Um, I don't
But
know.
a lot of things are just happening in the world because
Yeah, a lot of
yeah.
things are kind of just happening. Characters are kind of just running into each other due to like plot contrivance. Um, you know, it's one of those series. It's one of those series where there's multiple plot lines, and every single episode, or sometimes multiple times an episode, like the characters have to run into each other because that's dramatic or something. I don't
Right.
know. It's annoying too because like a lot of the times that they run into each other, like the two main super cops, which are also brothers by the way. Oh, I wonder if they're gonna do anything with that. Um, but anyway, like every time they run into each other, these two pairs of characters, uh, they're like, wait a minute, it's that guy, and then like they shoot at each other or they fucking blast each other with psychic powers, and then they run away. And it's like this didn't need to happen. Like literally nothing happened from this meeting outside of like an explosion. Like you don't need to do this every episode. You know what I mean? Like you can
Yeah,
have
it's
characters doing stuff on their own without like constantly needing to like, you know, just so happen to be in the same room and they didn't even know it. Or like, you know, they saw each other in the
Because
middle of the street and then they just
their
had to shoot
fates
at each
are
other.
linked.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's
the
just
red string of fate, bro.
Yeah,
it's
you
it's
don't
it's
understand.
it's silly. It's a bit
They have a
unnecessary,
psychic link.
and it feels really contrived, and I don't know. It feels like it's treading the same ground that a lot of series have tread before it, um, and not in like a good way either. So I don't know, but I do like the aesthetic. It is nice to look at. So there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's like a five out of 10. If I'd have to rate it, very middle of the road. It feels generic, but like
Right.
I can watch it.
Keep in mind, yeah, that is a true 5, not like
Yeah, like
Not a Mal 5.
not an
it's not
IGN
a
5.
yeah, like it is very middle of the road. Like, you can watch it. Um, it's not gonna blow you away. Uh, but I think it's okay. Just a bit generic. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nier, for helping cover Nighthead 2041. So a little bit unfortunate how it all shook out, but you can't have everything be good. And with that, we will quickly move on to the news. Quite a decent bit of news this time around. First off, the 2020 Will Eisner Comic Industry Awards revealed its winners at the Comic Con at Home digital event on Saturday. Junji Ito's Remina, translated by Jocelyn Allen manga, or Junji Ito's Remina manga, translated by Jocelyn Allen, won this year's Best U.S. Edition of International Material Asia Award. Junji Ito also won the Best Writer Artist Award for his Remina and Venus in the Blind Spot manga. So congratulations to him. In addition, Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo won the Best Continuing Series Award as well as the Best Lettering Award. Ping Pong was also nominated for Best Lettering. So congratulations to all of them. Next, an official website opened on Thursday to announce the new B&B Bad Sisters multimedia NFT project by manga creator Maika Kazuo of Phoenix Wright Ice Attorney fame, and podcaster and writer Tony Vega. The project is inspired by cryptocurrency, and the first set of NFT artwork, which consists of 27 pieces of art, will debut on August 6th at 11 p.m. EDT. So it already. Blah blah. Project's world is Crypto Tokyo, an alternate version of Tokyo where cryptocurrency is a part of daily life, and there are gangs of crypto-obsessed teenagers. Moe and Kumako Homa are sisters, known respectively as Bull and Bear, and they are high schoolers who restore peace to Crypto Tokyo. So this is a dystopia, right? I'm assuming.
Oh,
I hope this is a dystopia.
we're gonna restore peace to Crypto Tokyo. Could you fucking restore peace to my Robin Hood account, please? First, do that.
Spire, I'm pretty sure the world we are living in currently is a dystopia.
It's the
That is
yeah.
true.
It's reality is what you're referring to.
Again, very, very disappointing that more people. I mean, it's been a trend in Japan, just do NFT stuff for a while now. But it's not great. I don't like it. Next, even more worrying piece of news. The Comic Market Committee announced on Monday that the planned Comic Market 99 event will now be held on December 30th through 31st at Tokyo Big Sight and its east, west, and south halls. The staff stated regarding the announcement, while there is still a high degree of uncertainty with infections again on the rise, we are today announcing our plans for Comic Market 99 in 2021 winter. Given the necessary time for preparation such as application by circles, looking at the effects of vaccination and the increases in cases in recent weeks, we are trying to predict the situation a few months into the future. Therefore, we can't deny the possibility of another postponing in case that vaccination does not sufficiently improve the situation by the end of the year. However, if you don't plan and start with preparations now, there will certainly be no comic market. Yeah, I mean, it's such a bad situation because it is such a iconic event, and you know, obviously, it's not as if the doujin writers are all there making money and making their livelihoods all the time. But there are plenty of people there that do make money, like cosplayers and related, if they're sponsors and stuff like that. There are plenty of people that do make their livelihoods off of the attention that comic market gives. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but it's better to be safe than sorry, especially in these times. So next. Mangamo announced during its virtual Crunchyroll Expo panel on Thursday that it is adding Murakami Motoka's historical medical manga Jin to its service. This marks the first time that the entire manga is available for subscription. Mangamo also announced a new feature called the quote-unquote daily free chapter, which allows new users to read a free chapter every day without signing up for a subscription. The new tier will contain no ads and it will include hundreds of manga chapters including series that were not previously available in English. Jin's first 20 chapters will be available for free daily on the service. So yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of digitalization of manga services since forever, since like literally before any of this. But it was even like a dream or anything like that on the Japanese side. But I'm glad this is happening. The thing that I'm worried a little bit more and more is that as these services all pop up and then they'll some pop up and then they'll shrink and then some people will pick up the license and some set of oligopolies essentially will form, right? Probably around the powerhouse of Kodansha Shueisha Shogakukan, right? But as soon as these sorts of powerhouses become bigger and bigger, I just feel like I'm just very afraid of the Crunchyroll situation happening all over again, where yes, this is more or less nowadays it's pretty much like a direct line, right? Because most of the digitalization services are pretty much directly linked to the actual publishers. But I'm still afraid of the subscription services inevitably just becoming cheaper or like worse and worse and worse and more expensive and still just shitty delays, bad, scanlations out the wazoo. And people will just line up and take it the ass. And I really am afraid of that because I, I mean, we've already seen the effects that it has on the anime industry where, you know, if you have stuff like Crunchyroll and stupid speed subs just snuffing out the fan subs, it's just like the quality goes down. And then we already have bad stuff happening in the manga scanlation community, but to combine that with the conflict that official scanlations bring, and potentially having official scanlations also being iffy, and it's just like I don't know. It's a good future, but it's also a scary future because a lot of things could go wrong. So that's sort of how I feel. Final piece of non-personal news. The anime studio Gohans filed a legal complaint in the Tokyo District Court on Tuesday against the entertainment company King Records for non-payment of about 4.1 million US dollars or 450 million yen in the canceled production of the Tokyo Babylon 2021 television anime. I feel like I remember this series. Like I remember hearing about this series. I just obviously never saw it.
Wait, what
But
series?
Tokyo Babylon 2021. I feel like
Yeah, it
I've heard of
sounds
this.
familiar. I just don't
Yeah.
know what it is, though.
Yeah, according to the lawsuit, Gohans agreed to a contract with King Records to produce the anime and deliver 13 episodes by late last November. The production cost of about 2.87 million US dollars was slated to be paid in installments from December 2020 to August 2021. However, Gohans claims the contract was unilaterally canceled in January after the first installment. That is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah,
Listen, man, I'm not too broken up about a Studio Gohan's anime not coming out.
King King Amusement Creative announced Gohan's anime adaptation of Clamp's Tokyo Babylon manga last October and unveiled the character designs on November 19th. However, on November 20th, the staff received notice of possible plagiarism over the anime's costume designs, specifically from a costume of the Korean girl group Red Velvet and a Volk doll outfit. The staff apologized in December for referencing costume designs for two characters from other sources without permission. God damn it. Blah, blah. Yeah, it's a lot of what is it? The staff then delayed Gohan's anime from its planned April 2021 premiere before announcing its complete cancellation in March with an entirely new production plan. The production committee, which included King Records, cited an investigation which uncovered more examples of plagiarism and the resulting quote unquote loss of faith in the production studio. Jesus Christ. According to Gohan's, after the plagiarism claims, King Records asked the studio to revise the designs and the studio continued to work towards the agreed upon broadcast. However, Gohan's alleges that King Records reversed course and refused to pay the remaining installments in January. So, yeah, this seems like a train wreck and a half. But yeah, probably it's bad on King. I mean, at the end of the day, the payment stuff is bad on King Records' end, but I don't blame King Records for being like, these
Yeah.
guys, fuck these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
More
maybe
like,
we don't want to work with
yeah, these people. But yeah, very unfortunate. Going over some people news here. First, the official website for the Momoyudo Clover Z Idol Group announced on Saturday that member Sasaki Ayaka was hospitalized on Friday after being diagnosed with right peripheral facial nerve paralysis on the same day. Sasaki's condition is currently under observation. That is really
Christ.
unfortunate. Hopefully, if there's a way to cover for that, it'll be better. But best of wishes to her. Next, the news website Kenta Online reports that a 30-year-old man has been jailed for a year for grooming a 12-year-old girl who he met at a London anime-related convention in 2018. What the fuck? How did they meet? In what instances would they just like casually meet, be like, "Yo, nice"? Like, what? Okay. According to the report,
Would be surprised.
Adam Altaview, who is from Chatham in Kent, and sent inappropriate WhatsApp messages to the girl after the London event. Blah blah. All this stuff. He's a pedo. He groomed the girl. Blah 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 blah. According to the report, Altabib had used the name of an anime character known to stalk and spy on women. That's also always a great sign.
Really cool.
The London event was not named in the report, but was described as "quote unquote" a convention for fans of anime, cosplay, and comics. I don't. What the fuck, man? I don't even know how this happens. Like, how I just don't know.
If I had to
12-year-old
guess,
girl.
it was parents that go, sure, go to this event by yourself.
Yeah, seems like always a great idea. Don't do that. Don't do that as parents, guys.
Damn, this
Anyways,
is sick too. He's also found to have 3,000 indecent images on his computer. He claimed to be downloading the images to bring down the people who made them, but this
what
was
the f- does
dismissed
that
by the
mean?
judge. What a
What is?
fucking dumbass.
Oh,
Yeah,
anyways.
bro.
Of
I was gonna. I
himself?
was. No,
No,
just
no,
like
just in the scene images
Oh,
in
okay.
general of other people.
I
Yeah.
thought there was indecent images of himself he was going to send. I was like, 3,000?
Anyways, next. Production A, the voice actor agency that represents the voice actress idol unit Luminous Witches, announced on Monday that member Chibana Kyo will take a hiatus from work due to health reasons. The agency stated it will notify fans she is able to return to work. Please wish her the best, the quickest of recoveries. This is pretty fucking huge. The official website for singer Lisa announced on Wednesday that the singer is going to take on a hiatus from some of her activities due to mental and physical fatigue. As a result, blah blah, she's going to be missing all of these concerts and stuff. 5 minutes after Lisa's announcement, the official website for the unit Old Codex announced that it's going on hiatus due to vocalist Tatsu or Tatsuhisa Suzuki, who is the husband of Lisa and a pretty famous voice actor in his own right, being in poor health for the last several days. As a result, the unit will not appear at the Anime Summer Live 2021 Colors concert, blah, 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 all this stuff. So, uh, Lisa and Suzuki announced their marriage in January 2020. The Weekly Bunshin magazine reported on July 30th on an alleged extramarital affair between Suzuki and a female work associate. I don't know what the allegations are doing stuff, but I don't know what the truth of the allegations are. But I think more importantly, I mean, it's probably just trying to find different workload under COVID conditions, in addition to these allegations uh happening, because they literally just broke last week, right? July 30th. So in addition to these allegations happening, so not a good time for this couple, but hopefully things shake out well for them and there's nothing bad happening. Yeah. a little bit unfortunate times. Next, the official website for the Love Live Idol franchise announced on Thursday that Takatsuki Kanako, the voice actress for Kunikida Hanamaru, will cancel appearances and events and concerts this month due to her poor health. Takatsuki's official website further noted that Takatsuki is suffering from adjustment disorder, with which she was only recently diagnosed after regular medical examination. So, very unfortunate again. Believe adjustment disorder is just like obviously a disorder, that appears due to stress, right? Due to excess stress, to changes or extreme events in one's life. And, they become emotionally unstable, but you know, hopefully she can recover properly. And, hopefully she has a good, proper recovery period during this time. And last but not least, manga creator Sato Sanpei passed away due to aspiration pneumonia at a hospital in Tokyo last Saturday at the age of 91. So he was known for the Fuji Santaro 4 or the 4-panel manga series, which he launched in 1965 in Asahi Shimbun. The satire centers on a salaryman during the period of Japan's economic growth and bubble economy. The manga was serialized for over 26 years. He also received Ribbon Medal in 1997 for contributing to academic and artistic developments, improvements, and accomplishments, as well as the Order of the Rising Sun Small Ribbon in 2006 for his achievements. So please wish condolences for his friends and family. And just before the shoutouts and callouts, I just want to say two little things that the types of news that I don't usually announce, but I just want to point out. But first off, Netflix announced on Friday that it is producing a live-action short series as an extra to the anime series of Ono Kosuke's The Way of the House Husband, Gokushu Fudo manga. So the live action, there's like a more live action extra. I mean, there's already a live action version of The Way of the House Husband, if I remember correctly. But this is like an extra like spin-off to the anime. But the better thing is, this live action will star voice actor Suda Kenjiro as himself, who voices The Way of the House Husband protagonist, and also kind of looks half like a Yakuza himself, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this is as it should be. This should have been the full live action. Like,
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the new live action series, Suda lives in a small home along with a cat and attempts to master various home care skills, such as how to use a cooking knife, fixing sliding doors, washing, cleaning, and taking care of garbage. So this is like a sort of like a prequel in a sense. But fuck, this is this is gonna be so good.
it's exactly what I want.
Yeah. And second, I just want to say the official Twitter account for the Tamayura franchise announced on Saturday that the Tamayura Alumni Association event, which is scheduled for October 10, 2021, has been delayed to April 24, 2022 to the new coronavirus disease. Can I just say, the
Why
event
is
staff
that a thing?
the event staff was unable to hold the Tamayura Alumni Association event in 2020, which would have commemorated the 10th anniversary of the series due to COVID-19. How is there such a big fandom for this that there is an event for Tamayura? I do not understand.
Man,
Who likes Tamayura? Can I just get like a show of hands? Who likes Tamayura? How is there a 10th anniversary event for this series? I'm sorry, like Jesus Christ, man. Ah,
I don't even know what that is.
it's better that you don't, honestly. Honestly, you should probably watch it once and then just like get back to us. That's
yeah.
honestly the kindest way I can put it.
Tell us how many emotions you feel during your viewing of Tamiyara.
Tell us how many cups of coffee you went through before, like during watching Kamehameha.
Odds are it will be 0 emotions.
Yeah, and
I
at
will, you
least
know
10 cups
what?
of
I
coffee.
will literally start this series tonight after I take some melatonin, and I will see where it goes from there. Hell fucking
You're
yes.
not even gonna get through the opening. I swear to God, you will not get through the opening.
Oh, this
Watch
is
it.
gonna be
Even
awesome.
if you watch, like you can like you'd be on like a plane flight where you're like, oh, I'm gonna sleep for like 10 hours, right? You get off the airport and you're like, you watch an episode of Tamagura, you go straight back to sleep. That is literally this is a series. I'm a sucker for slow, slice of life, very slow, pacing series, right? I could, I was sleeping through
Listen,
Tamagura.
I couldn't make it through
Like,
one. I couldn't make it through one episode of Tomoko Market. I think
I
I'm
made
ready
it
for
through
this.
Tamako Market. I can't make it through this series.
Tamako
Oh,
I made
Market.
it through
dude, let's
Tamako
go.
Market.
Tamako
But
Market is
see,
a
like,
roller coaster compared to Tamagura.
this is gonna be sick.
Oh god. Anyways, so that was all the news for these past couple of weeks. And with that, we come to our last segment, our shoutouts and callouts. Everybody here gets one shoutout and one callout. And a shout out can be anything that you want to praise, give 5 out of 5, whatever. And it can be, compliment. It can be any one person, place, or thing. And callouts are obviously the exact opposite. Something that you want to insult, rant, rage about. Give 0 stars on Amazon. And it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we start with Dark.
All right, yeah, I'll keep my shout out quick. I mean, there's probably other things to shout out, but fuck it. Shout out to Genshin's new The Inazuma Zone in story. It's been really good. Especially shout out to that one cutscene where Goro fucking growls. That was something, huh? But yeah, that cutscene was fucking tight. As was the ball cutscene. Ooh, shit was sick. Got a really cool fucking effect where she basically shatters reality. That was awesome. Now to get into the meat and potatoes, let's get to what I will pull up the picture of. Why are you booing me? I'm right. Because I fucking am. And, fuck, dude. Okay, so to preface this, what was it, like a year? No, not a year before Shadowlands launched, but like months, or a couple months before Shadowlands launched in WoW. I made a Reddit post that was like, half of these systems in Shadowlands are useless. Like, they don't do anything. Like, if they weren't there, we wouldn't fucking miss them. So why have them there? You know?
Right.
And one of them was the conduit system, which is, like, even if you don't play WoW, here's what my conduits have been, were the entire patch of the expansion. So, the specialization, the type of shaman I was playing, does a thing where every now and then, not every now and then, but they want to proc something where their melee attacks, like their auto attacks, hit twice. Like they'll hit multiple times, instead of just once. So the thing that the conduit, I get one attack conduit, one support conduit, and one defense conduit. And then you get these other dumb fucking passives in between. My first conduit was one that makes that attack have a 20-something% chance to hit a third time. My defense conduit didn't matter. My support conduit also didn't fucking matter because the thing that mattered was my one that was hey, this thing that can hit twice can hit a fucking third time 20-something% of the time. That never changed for the rest of the fucking patch. And I played for 4 months or something for the first patch? No, 3, maybe. And then that patch lasted 8 months or something. Those never changed. So I got fucking nuked by people everywhere. Well, not even just Reddit. I got hit in YouTube comments. I got hit on fucking Reddit. Everyone saying oh, dude, it's because people want build variety. People want fucking these things are fun. You ever It was literally people being like, you ever think that maybe people want to have fun and like build their characters a certain way? And I'm just like, that's not reality. Like, fucking think for 2 seconds. Who the fuck is gonna do that? When you're literally staring down like, this one thing that doesn't actually really change my gameplay gives me 10% more damage than all of the others. I wonder which one I'm gonna fucking put in. Like, there's no one in the world who likes to do more damage like that in min-max, yet also is like, oh, but I want to really interact and fucking change these like funny bullshit things every other fucking day. Like, no one wants to do that. Why would you want to go back to this one place to change a tree whenever you want to fucking change these things? Not a good idea. Anyway, got hate for that. Now, the most recent one is with Genshin Impact. So, basically, my idea with Genshin was, why is it like it gets worse to level up characters the further in the game you are? Like, it's not even like it's equal. When you're in the beginning of the game and you need to get a character to like fucking level 20 or whatever because you're world level 0 and you're like just going through the story, you can do that pretty fucking easily. Once you're getting to the point of like world level 8, which is what I'm at, and I'm in the newest zone in Azuma, when you get a character, you're still starting at level 0 with that character. You have fucking nothing unless you built up resources, which I'll get to in a second. So you have to then ascend that character like fucking 4 times to get them to even level 80. And then even then, now Inazuma has higher level characters than the other 2 zones had at that world level. I pop a thing open, and it's these 2 fucking samurais that are like unCCable that will one-shot me unless I'm using my level 80 with like 34k health, my Hu Tao. Like, they will one-shot my Jean at level 80. They will one-shot my fucking Venti at level 90. They will one-shot like fucking half of the cast. And I was just like, like the stamina system, here's what you have to do to level a character. Yet you have 160 stamina that refreshes fully in 21 hours. Running one thing that gets you either EXP or money. You're getting either or. That costs 20 stamina. So you can run 8 of those in a day. And you need a shitload of EXP and a shitload of money just to level a character. That's just the level. And that's 20 of either or. So you can do 8 of those in a day. Then you need your ascension materials, which come from bosses. Those bosses cost 40 stamina apiece. You can only do then 4 in a day if you're only doing those. Then your characters need 5 artifacts. Completely RNG based stats, and maybe you won't even get the fucking one you want. You can only run.
Getting tired listening.
You can only run 8 of those in total per day. Your character also needs a fucking weapon. If you don't already have a weapon set up, or you're rolling the new weapon and you get the new weapon, you're subject to the same things. You need the ores, which are a little bit easier to come by. But then you need the money, and you need the weapon ascension materials, which, guess what, cost fucking 20 resin per run, so you can do 8 of them in a day. Everything in this fucking game takes stamina, and takes the same amount of fucking stamina. So, I think it's pretty fair to say that the shittiest part of the game is I fucking roll a character. Whether I'm lucky or whether I'm wailing is completely irrelevant. Honestly, it's probably even worse if you're lucky. It felt worse when I got lucky as fuck and got Tartaglia and Keqing back to back in 2 fucking rolls. Because I literally now got 2 characters that I'm like, oh, I didn't have anything for yet. So I guess I won't use these characters for like a fucking month of grinding to be able to use them. It's not even like I can grind while on them. I can't use them until I do these things. So basically, I got shit on for that. But also, with the other point of, I was like, it's detrimental to itself because not only are now you, like, why would I spend money on rolling until the last minute? Because I could potentially just get the character for free? Because I'm not even ready to level the character anyway. So I can't fucking use them until I build up materials. So I have 20 days to build up materials. May as well fucking use them. So it's like, it's detrimental to that. It's annoying as hell because even new characters like Ball now coming out, like, are coming out with the fucking Ascension bosses that you need the materials from and the gathering materials you need. So it's not even like you can prep for half of the shit for them. The only thing you can prep for them is you can prep a weapon, maybe, and her best weapon comes out with her anyway, so why? Or you can prep the money and the character EXP tokens. Not to mention the fact that if you've gotten any of the other fucking characters, you can't do that because you're using it for them. But that's another thing. Like, you know, they released with it. It was forgivable for Inazuma because it's a new zone, so the Inazuma characters use the Inazuma materials. Sure. But you're doing that with the following 2 banners now that you can't prep for. So there's that. Then there's the fact that this doesn't even allow co-op to function properly in the game. Because why the fuck would I run co-op when the only thing I'd be doing co-op for is to run these bosses or these domains, of which I'm running 8 a day unless I'm literally paying money to refresh my stamina. Or I'm saving up the stamina shit that they barely fucking give you. Like, why would I do co-op? Doing co-op means you're waiting to form a group, which granted doesn't take that long to form the group, but then you have to wait for everyone to ready up to rerun the domains. And you have to hope that no one in that group is going to fucking leave. So it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go into Discord and am I going to fucking ask like Nier or Repost or Jack and be like, hey guys, do you want to form a 4-man team to clear this domain we can all clear by ourselves in fucking 15 minutes of doing all of them? Why the fuck would I do that? It will take more time for all of us to get on the game and for us to ask each other and to take the characters and to load in than it would to just clear the whole fucking thing. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And I have people telling me like, oh, but if you could grind these things, you would do co-op and then you'd be done with it.
Right.
But you're just not doing co-op now. So it's like, you're talking about the difference between being able to form a group, because my argument is you should be able to just, whether it be one of these things or multiple of these things, should just be grindable. I should be able to fucking throw myself at artifacts or something and just get whatever I want for as long as I fucking want. Because I'm already limited and fucked in the ass by so many other things anyway, that it really doesn't matter. It's saving some time, but it's also giving me something to fucking do. And it's like, how is that detrimental? All that's doing is letting me now say to people, is letting me ask like people in Discord and being like, hey, do you want to form a group so we can farm these domains for the next hour? Yeah, Session's like, I got one artifact I wanted after playing for a fucking month. It's gotten to the point where it's like, I just look for artifacts that just have the right main stat. Substats be fucking damned. Is it an orange with the correct main stat? That's all I fucking want then. Because you also have to remember, here's the layers of RNGs for artifacts. Someone was like, oh, well, if it was like, because I brought up Grand Blue, it was like, oh, it'd take you a half an hour to get a fucking 5-star artifact, and that's it. And it's like, I would take that over what we have now, because what we have fucking now is you need the artifacts to level artifacts anyway on top of money. So that's 2 layers right there. Then the artifacts themselves have a random main stat. Well, actually, there's 2 sets of artifacts per domain. So you're already praying you get the correct one. Then you have 5 different slots for the artifacts, which are all unique artifacts. So you're hoping you're getting the right one of that. Then you have 4 substats on the fucking artifacts. So good luck getting the correct ones of those. Then when you level up the artifacts, 2 of those will randomly get increased. So you're looking at 1 random main stat, then 4 random substats, then of those random substats, only until you max them out do you know which of those 4 substats are going to be the highest stats on it. So it's like impossible to get the perfect one to fucking begin with. So that's like one thing that is like horrible. But it's like you see where you have so much fucking nonsense to do that it's like, why would I play this game for more than half an hour a day? And I've had people say like, oh, it's meant to be played for 30 to 60 minutes a day. Why? Why is it made to only be played like that? Like, it's like, first of all, obviously it's not made to be played like that because it takes way longer to max out characters. Like, the game's made so that when you get a character, you use that fucking character. That's why the characters are in the fucking game. That's why they come at level fucking 0. It's so that you have to level them. But the game stops you from doing that. Like, it's just bad design. It's not fucking good. And it doesn't allow you to do co-op. Like, it makes co-op worthless. The only reason to do co-op is literally to steal people's fucking plants from their world. Just to steal resources. Like, I've asked people if they've been using resources, and when they don't, I take them, like Riposte. I ask him, oh, are you using these plants that I need for Ascensions? He says no. I join his world, and I take them. Because otherwise, they're just going to be there, and he's not collecting them. And they take like 24 hours to reset or whatever. So, that's the only co-op I've done. I've had people try to randomly join my world, and that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to fucking steal my plants and move on. That's the only interaction I've had with co-op since this game has come out, other than like 1 event or something, maybe 2. And it's like, why even have this fucking system? Like, just make one fucking thing grindable then. If you're not going to be like Grand Blue and give us an infinite amount of resin, then just make something fucking grindable so I can play your game more. Because I want to play your game more. And I won't get sick of it. Because the thing that's making me sick of your fucking game is that I can't level shit that I unlock. Like, I'm unlocking characters and then you're telling me arbitrarily you can't play them for a month. You can't play them for a couple of weeks because you don't have the resources for it anymore. And it's like, well, by the time I grind these resources to play them, I'm already fucking sick of it. Because all I'm going to do then is play for 30 to 60 minutes a day. And it's like, that's not, like, oh man. The idea is that it's not going to turn people off to get everything. I've seen so many fucking people try to tell me, well, if I was able to grind everything in one day, I'd have stopped playing this game fucking 3 weeks ago. It's like, well, who cares then? If you're done with all of your characters and that's all you want to do and you don't want to save for future characters, why are you playing the game? You're saying that it's better because you're logging in daily, so you're playing for longer. But you're not. You're playing for the same amount of time just over the course of like a fucking month because you're getting strung along. Like, you're not playing for longer. You're playing for the same amount or less because you're forgetting. Like, it's just not conducive to being like played even remotely in a proper way. I was comparing it to Nier. Like, imagine if in Grand Blue, the only things you had to do per day were the extreme raids that we can all fucking one-shot now. Would you invite people to do co-op in those? Would you request a backup in those? No, because it's a waste of fucking time. Because you're going to clear it in 2 seconds anyway. So why the fuck would I invite anyone? Like, and then, why have co-op? So it turns into this big fucking thing where it's a bunch of really, like, big fucking freaks that are, like, lying to themselves and straight up just lying to me. I was mentioning it to a post earlier too. There are people that are like, yeah, I have level 50 characters and like they did fine. And it's like, okay, do you have one level 50 character and then you have like 3 other level 90 characters that are fucking carrying them? Because I can guarantee you right now, your level 50 character isn't fine up against level 98s. Like, it's not fine no matter what fucking gear you have. They'll get killed in 2 seconds.
Very unfortunate.
But anyway, I think that about sums it up. Oh, well, actually, no, I should cover this too. Since Inazuma was a higher level than the other two regions when it came out, we're either going to get an increase in level cap in another couple of months or whenever the next region comes out. We're going to get either an increase in level cap, or we're just going to be at the point where it's like you either have level 90 characters or you're not fucking playing in this zone, or you're lowering your world level, which feels like shit. So we're going to have that. And then we're going to have a fucking year from now. So mark your fucking calendars when I'm really right, when we have all of these new regions and shit, and like our character caps are like level 120, we're going to be at the point where leveling characters is even worse. Because that's the other thing. It gets exponentially harder to level them. And you don't get exponentially higher amounts of materials. And that's the thing that no one's understanding. Whereas when you're in a world level 7, let's say you get 5 EXP tickets. These aren't the actual numbers, but let's say if you were in world level 7, you're getting 5 EXP tickets. You bump up your shit to world level 8, everything increases by I think like 10 levels on average or something like that. Instead of getting those 5 EXP tickets for 20 resin, now you're getting 6 EXP tickets for that resin. Except, in order to get a character now 10 levels higher, you need exponentially higher amounts. You need double those tickets. And so on and so forth. Which you need a lot more than that, but still. It's like, so just mark your calendars, a year from now, people are going to have to grind out their characters to like level fucking 160 in Genshin or some shit. It's going to take them literally a full fucking 2 months to even get the EXP. And we'll be right back to where we started.
Yeah, honestly, for Genshin, the writing was on the wall for quite a while now. But
Oh, it was
just
there from the
waiting
beginning when people worked out. It takes like a fucking month to max out a character with resources. People did the math already, but apparently no one cares anymore.
Oh, anyways, that was it for your shoutouts and callouts, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your shoutouts and callouts and for the extended explanation on Genshin Impact. And Nier. We forgot that Dark was actually the first shoutout and callout, but Nier, what is your shoutout and callout?
Well, I won't have a 40-minute Genshin rant, but shoutouts to fuck, what's it called? For the company name, Discotheque. Just like fucking
Oh, okay.
earlier today, something like that. They announced that they're doing a release for English Blu-rays for Gunbuster. So it's pretty based, pretty awesome, pretty cool. I'm excited for that. As for callouts, I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with too much lately, honestly.
Well, at least it's good that you don't have callouts
Yeah,
as well.
I've been absorbed in the gacha world, you know. I guess callouts to myself because I probably shouldn't have rolled on Summer Musashi, um, but I did, and I rolled a lot. I rolled a lot of quartz that I've been saving up for a while. But um, things happen. You know, at least I got her. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nier, for your shout out and call out. As for myself, I think I almost forgot it. I think I almost forgot how what my shout out and call out was after that call out. But what was it? My call out honestly is to all the freaking rain because I can't run outside a lot of times just because it is literally like raining 24/7 at some like just like I don't know, like whenever I look outside, it's raining, and it's like, please stop raining. Please stop raining. I swear to God. So call outs to that. My shout outs. What do I have shout outs for? I actually, oh, well, I guess shout outs to this week in general, just because I haven't had, this week hasn't been too stressful, although, you know, some it's the first week that hasn't been that stressful or hasn't been too stressful in a while. The end, it's finally the ending of some real life projects, but hopefully it kind of stays this way and I'm not going to be suddenly put into, overwork mode. But yeah, so it's been a pretty relaxing week. And so shout outs to that. And yeah, that's my shout outs and call outs. And with that, we are finally done with our podcast. Thank you, everybody, for visiting here for episode 176 of 4Play Animecast. Again, we're probably going to have two more episodes, including, or two more episodes upcoming next that are of the summer review season. And I think after that, we are probably going to have sort of another roundtable talking about sort of like a general theme, right? Before we had like harem, we had like survival game stuff, so on, or sorry, isekai. Excuse me, we had isekai stuff like harem, and we're probably going to try to cover another theme in our roundtable discussions, where we usually do end up going off in pretty deep, productive discussions there. So watch out for that. And afterwards, after those three episodes, we'll go straight into our preview show. And from there, straight into the fall season, obviously. Hopefully, the fall season won't be scheduled so that we have like five episodes starting at the beginning of October. And then, the last bunch of anime series starting, in the second week of November or some shit. Hopefully, it's a little bit more compacted, but we can all hope. Anyways, again, thank you to all the viewers here and the listeners out there for listening to our podcast. And if you do like what we do, we stream our podcast live every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast. That's with a numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. Check us out here. Check us out our VODs/highlights of our podcast recordings here or on YouTube for Play Animecast. So whichever one you desire. Check us out on our social media, Facebook for Play Animecast, and Twitter handle at 4PBAnimecast, all with a numeral 4, where we keep our updates and when we're streaming, when we're doing stuff, so on and so forth. So check us out here, check us out there. And as always, we'll see you next time.